It's off on a Friday morning. Just keeping my eye out here for, there it is. Month over month, June PPI comes in 0.2%, in line with expectations, 0.2% on the month over month number. The year over year number, 3%. I'll close that and see 2.3% expected there, so higher on the headline number there, year over year for June. Again, 3% versus 2.3% coming off what happened yesterday. If you remember, much better than expected. I mean, let's keep some context on this. It was 0.1% for CPI yesterday to the downside, but it was the first time in almost 3 years that we had negative print on that CPI data. So the other direction here this morning for PPI, not as closely watched by the market, but 3% there versus the 2.3% print expected. Keep in mind, coming up at 10 o'clock this morning, Michigan consumer sentiment, more inflation data in that report, both a 1 year and a 5 year expectation number expected along with that. So we will watch out for that. Yeah, downside here for Microsoft, downside for some big tech names today coming off what happened yesterday. Huge reversal. If you look at some daily charts across the board, Nvidia specifically, some of the chips, some of the tech names, big, ugly, red reversal like candles formed yesterday. Oh, yeah. I mean, this move has just been amazing to watch to the upside, so overdue, I think.
It's nice. Nice to watch. Obviously, a healthy pullback there. Was reading a lot about the rotation in the market yesterday and how, the Mag 7 really did not do that well as the chips who have been very strong. Other areas, solar and the like, all did very well. To build on your point, Brendo, with respect to inflation, yesterday was really interesting to look at where the inflation was. Tons of inflation still in the insurance business, in shelter, whether it's rent or mortgages, so those have been very sticky. Some of the other ones, though, cars, used cars, newer cars, all in negative territory now, deflation.
Yeah, food as well was another one that was still upside. Speaking of market trying to reverse here pretty hard, back higher now for the Qs. See if we can't get back green, basically flat once again here. Yeah, I mean, the story continues. I think, this is going to be going on for quite some time. As I said, it was 0.1%. It wasn't a two handle yet. I think if we do ever see on the CPI print a two handle, then you'll start to see that narrative, a little bit more significant to the downside. But banks in focus today as well. We didn't mention that. Wells Fargo, ouch. What is it right now? It's about 5.5% downside so far this morning.
And they beat on the top and bottom line, Brendo. Yeah. The net interest income was the concern for Wells Fargo. That's obviously the amount of money that they make off higher interest rates. It's actually negative for them at the moment. They're paying out more, I guess, in interest on savings account and shorter dated treasuries, and they're making back in interest that they're getting on loans. So a bit of a tougher look and selling off aggressively as a result.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the banks going into the weekend here. XLF, though, still looking great on a higher time frame. I was noticing at the end of the day yesterday. Neil is off once again today. Obi back in with us. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. What's up, Obi? What's up, everybody? Yeah, good morning. Good morning. It is, too. I mean, there we go. We get almost the same kind of thing that happened yesterday, but this is happening earlier. We get that huge dump off there in the market, and then now look what's happening. It's retracing right back to the highs. You're telling me you could have just got long at 20,330 and now you're 100 handles in the money right there in 4 minutes? So this is the kind of market that we live in. We talked about, you and I talked about in the pre-market here, the VIX, and that it didn't really move too much yesterday. We went up to 12, 13 bucks, then fell back in a little bit. Remember the bank that we said was the one to buy? We kept on talking about JP Morgan, and then we went over to Citigroup, and we're like, this is the one that's been looking the best, performing the best, had that bounce, now taking out highs, didn't really chop around at highs like JP Morgan's been doing. And then look what happens. Citigroup, boom, goes the dynamite. It's like some of these things, you just got to look at the charts. I'm not long this name. It's just this is something that we've been looking at. We still own JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs of the world, and they're performing pretty good, pretty flat on JPM as opposed to the other two. Wells Fargo downside, JP Morgan flat. JP Morgan beating on both sides. Wells Fargo gets the lack of loan downside loan, 3% lower on amount of loans outstanding for Wells Fargo, getting them down 6%. So we'll review all the banks. We have Michael Noss coming out as well today. I don't know if, I don't want to say that yesterday was like a really big destruction kind of day, because some of these names did get destructed, but at the end of the day, we just went back to kind of where we were a week ago. So if yesterday was a sign, I think we get a couple more days of maybe rotation. The banks aren't giving anybody like huge pauses here, I don't think. So let's wait to see what happens with the market. But I'm still looking short for today so far. So we're got some ideas on here. Alibaba is going to be one for the long, and then I have SPY written on the sticky note. But I'm waiting. I wanted to wait to see what this PPI would do.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's funny because 6 minutes later, you know where we are?
Right back.
Exactly where we start, as if the number didn't get released.
Yeah, absolutely crazy there. Yeah, no. So you're saying you still got a little bit of a bearish continuation look for today. Yeah, yesterday was absolutely crazy. Like
I think it'll be name specific as well.
Yeah, name specific. We have a few names on the roster. We know that I guess that Tesla Uber news that we had. Yes. I guess AMD Day 3 maybe. We know that they had Day 3 not as great. AMD.
It was me and you here last when they bought that AI company. Remember?
Yeah, exactly. That was good.
Right?
That was good. And then yesterday we kind of we gave some of it
Vice
back
President
there.
OB.
I don't know about that.
No.
And of course JPM, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup.
Yeah,
all
the banks are bumping
bit of a bank report there. I'm watching Citigroup here. Pretty strong. They beat on their EPS and their earnings as well. So yeah, we'll see what we got.
It's Friday, low volume into a summer. It's gorgeous weather.
Oh, it's beautiful weather.
I don't,
Any plans for the weekend?
Yeah, a couple more baseball things happening. We got to drive back up north to pick up my daughter, who's going to be done from her camp. So that's exciting for her, and we're really excited. Her first ever sleepaway camp. So we're really excited to hear that. And they're not allowed to have their phones, or there's no communication. We haven't phoned them.
Okay.
We haven't emailed, done anything. We sent letters to her.
Disconnect almost.
Yeah, big disconnect. So they post pictures up every once in a while. So we've seen, a handful of them with her in it. So yeah, we're really excited for that. But, and then my son starts golf camp.
Ooh.
I believe on Monday. So we're hoping for good weather next week, which doesn't look like it's the greatest weather. But all right, what about yourself?
Nothing too much. Maybe just some reviewing. Maybe going out for like fishing this weekend.
Fish? Oh yeah, that's right. You always tell me.
Yeah, the weather's nice. I've been waiting. I was like, it was like a little rainy last week. Earlier on the week. We'll see. Maybe some.
You go up north, right? A little bit.
Yeah, Simcoe.
Nice. Yeah. That's good. Well, hey, there's no better. We always say when you're a trader, you need to have that little time to, refocus.
Yeah,
I think fishing. There's no. Actually, I love fishing.
Really? We should go sometime.
I would love to go. I mean, I have my tackle box. I have
let's go.
I'm ready to go.
All right.
Let's get one of those hats going on. I think I even have one of those. All right, back over to the desk. You guys I think both these guys would enjoy fishing. Let's see.
100%. I was just saying to Sharif, I just wish there was a place you could go to catch fish that you could actually take home with you.
Yeah. Got to go a little north for that.
Maybe not get tremendously sick afterwards, but anyway. No, the ocean is just, fishing in the ocean is just
it's a lot better.
Whole different world.
For sure.
Yeah.
My buddies catch a nice pike up in northern Great Lakes. Yeah, not.
Here I am complaining about.
What's that?
Here I am complaining about eating bony fish. A couple things to talk about. I saw some people mentioning this. JMIA on a 3 or 4 day run here, trying to get back above some levels from yesterday right now. Not a lot of volume behind this, but worth a watch for JMIA once again. You and I were just talking about Tesla. One of those ones I mentioned to start things off here this morning, big, ugly reversal candle, essentially taking out 4.5 even days of price action here. Huge, massive move higher, but heavy volume behind that selling yesterday.
Yeah, it was aggressive there. Came in midday on the How to Trade show, and we didn't really have an understanding of why it happened until the news item came a little bit later. Obviously, it is a delay from the robotaxi launch to give their engineers more time to create prototypes. Is being kicked down the road from August to October. There's also more negative downside today for Tesla. UBS downgrading Tesla to a sell, not just like a neutral, but an actual sell, basically saying the valuation is way too heavy. I'll take you guys through it on the rundown, but they actually give a price per share for every component there for Tesla, whether it's core, auto business, energy, robotaxi, and they don't think that combined, they make up the current price.
I mean, you mentioned it, credit to you, you mentioned it yesterday, Elon has a track record of overpromising initially and then, delay. But as we've seen, he tends to always come through in the end. So whether it's, the time frame that we hear initially or not, doesn't seem to matter. Worth noting, some of the other EV names not really affected by not only what happened yesterday for Tesla, but holding up nicely here this morning as well. That's just Rivian, but I haven't seen any others under pressure yet.
You know, I didn't even look at Rivian. I was just looking at Tesla right now. What's up to Ben Fishin right here, because there is that $20 super chat, Obi. So here we go, man. We'll take this and we will buy, I guess, a little bit of a plane ticket and go over to Texas when we come and visit. This is the Fishing Lure Fund. So there it is right now. We'll get a couple different lures. I mean, in Texas, probably, everything's bigger in Texas. We might need to adjust. We're not going to get to smallmouth bass or anything like that. But there it is right there. Get ready to rock and roll. Thank you, Ben Fishin, for the $20. We've liked it. I've commented on it. Thank you so much. It's just what an amazing amount of, different group we have here. We mentioned fishing and all of a sudden there it is, a fishing. Yeah. That's awesome. Really a lot of fun. All right, we were just talking about Tesla. I just wanted to look at Rivian quickly because where is this? This is funny. Like that Volkswagen deal there, it faded off exactly as, I remember this day. I was sitting here and I did not sell any of it because the move, again, we don't sell anything in our personal accounts or swing trade accounts while we're on the air because we don't want to have, I don't want to be holding Nvidia long. Meanwhile, I'm selling it. It's not even allowed to be able to do that. So we don't do that. And it was up here at $17, $18. And I was like, wow, that's a huge move. This is going to retrace. And then it did for the next 3 days. And then somehow found a bottom right here at past, I guess, little level of concern at 1350. And since then, you're right back up to 17. So do I think we should sell some of this? Yeah, probably. It's just at one of those levels again. But hey, despite what happened yesterday in the market, Rivian says, hold my beer, because the Tesla story is completely isolated. It has nothing to do with the EV space, has nothing to do with anything other than what's happening at Tesla. And we talked about this. I said this with Michael. Michael's in the green room right now. We talked about this on Monday. I talked about this with Brian. I was like, look, Tesla's getting heated. And we talked about some of the levels that it was coming into. And I sold some in the personal account. I know Neil sold some in the personal account. It all got to this level. And the question that I asked Michael and Brian Noss, Michael Noss and Brian Shannon, good thing they're friends.
The fusion.
Was, what happens the next time we get some bad news? And we were waiting for August 8th. And then that possible came earlier, where now you're getting a little bit of a delay possible. This is from a Bloomberg report. That maybe now this robo-taxi situation is on the back burner for a minute. Now, I don't know, there's going to be a lot of people in the chat here that are Tesla fanatics that have done a heck of a lot of research about this story. So let's just see the reaction today. I would say it's had such a huge run that even if you hadn't gotten out, these are still fine levels. You do miss that 8-9% from the high because we fell out yesterday. But hey, you can't pick tops or bottoms in this market. I feel like that's why you got to leg out of certain things. Like we're happy with Roblox. We're long in that 34, 35 area, and we're taking some out now, 39, 40, play the range. And then I know, again, our guest Michael's coming through, and I'm sure maybe you're the same way. We always talk about it. When certain levels are hit, you need to take profit. I mean, not only do we do that, we do that on the show. Like yesterday, I saw Meta. We were short 535. It came down to some of those levels, 522, and we saw that was the top from before. I took it out. Did I know it was going to 505? You know what I mean? Yeah. You take it out, you try to hold a little bit for that dream. And Tesla, I think, is just one of those stories where it does have a move back higher. I just don't know if it's today.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that we've been squeezing since what? Since this 190, 200 break-ish area. Again, we talk about that longer time frame trend resistance that we're pushing off of. A lot of pressure definitely coming in, buying pressure off of that breakout. Again, driven by deliveries that we had at the beginning of the month, July the 2nd, right? So we are taking a little bit of a pullback. As of yesterday, we also had that robotaxi news to kind of fuel the fire there as the market slammed down as well over, 600 points? We basically tested 21,000.
That was a big one.
And then we're trading back down in the 2300s, 20,400s right now. A little bit of a consolidation range going on here, just hovering above this 20,400-ish area here. But yeah, off the PPI, we slam all the way almost down to 20,003 and then come right back in as if, like Sean said before, as if nothing happened, right? So we kind of balanced out a little bit here. But no, Tesla, I think, definitely didn't really bounce at all. Like not even like a dead cat, nothing really I guess to suggest that there may be like some sort of a bid here. 245s was a little bit of a bid, but yeah, it came all the way down in the pre-market as well, 231. So we'll see. I'll be looking for both ways here on Tesla. If we continue to the downside, we go sideways or we go up, I'm going to be looking for potential setups to set up, I guess. Right kind of price action. We'll have some entries, hopefully.
I'm writing down the word patience.
Yeah. I think I wrote that. Today. I have like patience written down like 3 times. 3 or 4 times on my page. Yeah, I was like, nice. I needed to get better at practicing that patience. I feel good
about that too. By the way, it is my mother's birthday today, so I'm going to say happy birthday to her. She's just waking up, so I had some Starbucks delivered to her front door, so she's received that. It's going to be a little cold for all that because, you know, she's waking up now. Good, slept in on her birthday, so I like that. But happy birthday to you, Mom, and yeah, hopefully she'll take some trades off the sticky note today.
That's awesome. Yeah.
All right, yeah, back over to the desk.
All right, let's bring in Michael Noss here to get a wrap up on what's been a pretty interesting week, not only for the market, Mr. Noss, but individual names here. We have, we talked on Monday about that concept of, you know, when you start to see action in other areas of the market, typically signals, you know, maybe a shift in momentum, yes, but also a shift in direction. Tell us why.
Yeah, and that was perfectly timed because yesterday was crazy. And with the Qs down and the IWM up, it was awesome. But everywhere I looked, they were talking about the crash in the market and the crash in the market. And it was like, it was a crash for some things and not for others. So I have this chart. I know it's not a very good looking chart, but I need to give a shout out to Michael Zardecki, I'm going to call it. He's a fellow CMT who posted this. I'll explain it because, again, it's not a very good looking chart. But the top pane is the IWM over the Qs. So it's looking at a relative ratio between what's doing better, the Qs or the IWM. And you can clearly see over the last number of years, it's not been good to be invested in small cap companies. It's been better to be trading and investing in these large cap companies. The chart on the bottom is the rate of change of these two charts. And this is to basically show, and I'll break it down and show with some other charts in a second, to show that we have had the biggest move in this chart, showing that the IWM outperforming the NASDAQ since 2001, when the NASDAQ actually started to collapse with that tech bubble burst. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but the outperformance yesterday was absolutely mind-blowing when it came to if you owned big cap tech, it looked like it was a pretty harsh down day. If you owned anything else, you actually did pretty well. And this is the rotation that I've been talking about, and we've been talking about in the after-hour shows and with Brendan for it seemed like almost the entire year so far, that at some point we are going to get profit taking in these big cap tech names. And the question that we always need to be asking, even if it's months in advance, is where is that money going to go? So I'm ready and able to hit the button when that occurs. So we break down this, what happened a little bit further with the next chart. And a lot of people are going to know this next chart anyway. This is just the Qs yesterday. So this is the NASDAQ, pretty bad down day, engulfed, you know, many of the last like week almost in one single day down. It looked really, really bad. If you're just looking at the NASDAQ, if you're someone who's laser focused on, you know, Nvidia and Apple and Microsoft, again, it looked really, really bad. However, if you go to the next chart, this is the IWM. So this is me breaking out this ratio. And the IWM is the 2,000 smallest companies out there. The banks, small biotech companies, small tech companies, as well as opposed to large tech companies, gapped up, had a massive 4% up day, closed at highs. And I drew that line there because that was the prior 52-week closing highs. So if you are someone who is, again, if you're focused on the large tech names, you thought it was a pretty bad day. If you're someone who's focusing on whatever is moving at the time, like we do over at Trade Ideas, it was a great day, right? 52-week closing highs on the small caps for the first time in what seems like forever. You can look at this chart, has been range bound for the better part of a year. The next chart is the IWC. So now we're going even further down this cap scale from small caps to micro caps. These are the little tiny guys, the ones that you have to be very, very careful about. Didn't make that new 52-week closing high, but a 5% up day in micro caps yesterday. So again, just I'm blown away because this is an event that really doesn't occur very often, this bifurcation of the market. Next chart, I'm going to show you a little bit why I think that was happening. So I talked about how the IWM has a lot of banks in it. It's hard for us Canadian guys to understand because we only have 4 or 5 big banks up here, but in America, you have tons and tons of banks. This was great, a day for them, a nice breakout here of this triangle that we're seeing on the XLF. So the financial sector did amazing. Next chart was something that we talked about earlier in the week with gold. Gold was doing fantastic as well, broke out, moved higher. Again, a lot of gold miners here. So really, I just bring all of these charts to show you guys that if you're someone who has been spending the last year, 2 years focused on Nvidia and Microsoft and Apple as your swing trading or investing ideas, we may finally, and I think I've said this before and was wrong about it, but this was a pretty sizable day, we may finally be seeing this rotation. So what I'm going to be doing all weekend is looking for names that look good from this smaller to mid-cap sector to rotate my own money out of from a lot of these large caps that I had. So that's kind of my encouragement to you guys out there. Obviously, that's what we do at Trade Ideas is we scan for whatever's moving at the time, regardless of whether it's a big well-known name or not. I think that's going to behoove people to spend a lot of time doing over the weekend. Go to your favorite smaller sector or your smaller names and see if there's some opportunities there for you.
It's so the natural, I guess, next question always becomes then why? Why is this happening? Why is now the time that we get this, pull out of some of those big tech names and into other areas of the market? And I think it's worth noting the simple fact that a lot of institutional investment, institutional money specifically, has to be in the market. They have to be participating in the market. So the path of least resistance, if, in the big tech land is down, that's when you start to see a shift into these other areas. Yeah,
and they have such great profits all years, right? If say you started with a 5% of your portfolio was Nvidia 2 years ago, and you're a giant hedge fund. Well, now that's like a quarter of your portfolio or more is Nvidia. And if I'm a hedge fund investor and I'm paying you 20% of everything you make for me, and I'm paying 2% of a performance fee, and I look at your books and it's all Nvidia and Apple and Microsoft, I can say, well, I can get this by owning the NASDAQ, right? I could get this by owning the S&P 500. So those investors will put pressures on the hedge funds and say, listen, get to work, right? Sell the massive profits you've made here and look for other investments to get into. And that's what causes this rotation that's just perfectly natural and perfectly healthy. What we're always looking for is when these moments happen, when these trends that have been working very well change, is where are they putting their money? It's a very relieving moment that they're putting it into small caps, because if they were putting it into bonds or cash, then that means that these managers that know a lot are worried about the market. The fact that they're buying small caps and micro caps with that money means that they're still bullish on the market. It's just time to spread that money out through the system a little bit.
Great stuff, Mr. Noss. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll touch base again on Monday.
Talk to you Monday.
Yeah, nothing better than that. I mean, we talked about some of the rotations trying to happen right now. It's interesting to talk about the IWM from yesterday. It was relatively strong, obviously, compared to some of these other names. And then, I think the big thing, here's IWM. We can have a quick look. I think Adara was actually trading IWM yesterday, I believe, or the day before. Yeah. So there it goes. I mean, look at this. Nice move up there yesterday. I mean, to talk about what was happening when a lot of rotations heading into the smaller names, right? I mean, that's what it's all about, is figuring out where does the Fed take us from here if we are in this rate cut cycle now? How many and where do you want your money? Because this has been underperforming. Right? I mean, all these other markets have been already taking out highs. IWM was hanging out for a minute, and now it's breaking out. So you want to play relative strength, right? Not weakness. And I learned this from Michael as well. Why are we going long on names that are falling down? Like when a name like Starbucks goes to $72, it's down there because it's getting hit. It's because it's not performing well. The chart doesn't look great when stocks are falling through, right? So it's like sometimes it's better to play the strong names to the long side. And I mean, that's true for the day trading. It's true for swing trading. And now you get a momentum break in IWM. And if you didn't believe it yesterday, well, today it's up another 1.5%. So there you go. Play the names early and get involved. I think that's one of the best things that you can do. And then another wise words from him, study this weekend. You know, go out there, figure out, and you mentioned looking at some things as well. You know, go back, look at some of the trends that have been happening, and maybe it is time to rebalance a little bit of your portfolio if you're getting nervous that some of these big tech names are going to be rebalanced into, you know, more equal weighted names or ideas like an IWM or an industrials or the financials or something. So yeah, great work there, Michael.
Yeah, no, I think the IWM breakout, like we've been waiting for this breakout for over a year, right? Over a couple of years there, 2022 consolidation highs there. So finally happening again off of some of the action from yesterday and I guess some of today as well. So it should be interesting to see if some of these names here in the Russell will get that continuation today. What's going on, Adara?
Well, it's interesting names here on the upgrades and downgrades side. For upgrades, we're starting with Booking Holdings, getting a $4,700 price target here from Benchmark. Six Flags getting an upgrade here from Stifel. We have Spotify getting an upgrade from Wolf Research. Keep an eye on SPOT. They actually have earnings coming up the Tuesday after next. Last but not least, on the upgrade side, BTIG Research upgrading Carvana. Carvana getting lots of analyst attention this week, so definitely one to keep an eye on. On the downgrade side, as mentioned a little bit earlier today by Sharif, UBS downgrading this name, but raising its price target by $50 from $147 to $197 with a sell rating. We can get some more details on this downgrade on our watch list. We have Ryanair getting a downgrade from HSBC Securities. Snowflake getting a downgrade from Piper Sandler in the wake of that AT&T data breach. And last but not least here, Marathon Oil getting a downgrade from Scotiabank, guys.
All right.
With this name. I was interested in that Snowflake one because Snowflake started to run up there a little bit, and we have it on our watch list here, so we may talk about this a little bit later on as well. But Snowflake down that 4%. That's not nice. It didn't have a good day yesterday either. It had a really great recovery. We thought buying down here was a pretty decent spot, and this is one of those names that I'm talking about where we're looking at Starbucks, we're looking at Snowflake, and we've been trying to buy some of these dips, and we've not been trying. We have been. We're long into here. I think we were long into the 150 area, into this area here. And then we did buy some again just to try to average in a little bit down here at 128. I don't think we're going to continue to catch a falling sword here. Let's just see if it can bounce off. Palantir is really the better name. We've been long Palantir for a while. This has been something that ever since the direct list down at 920. And again, happy birthday to my mother who's out there today. Look, we've really liked this name. It had a great base down here at $21. We've been getting money to work on this, and yeah, 27 looks like it could be a hold here. But again, like if the market's going to have another one of those days, do we really want to be in these names? That's the question. So let's just let it settle down. Palantir's down 1%, Snowflake's down almost 4%. Market is now back to flat. So I don't know. We'll wait. It's Friday. I could see the low volumes kicking in again. We're excited to be here. I got some forms I need to fill out for High Park baseball as we enter some more tournaments. That should be exciting. We have practice tonight. Little light on the attendance.
Okay.
Many people. This is a bad time. So now High Park actually takes a couple weeks off starting now.
Okay.
Into this next.
Close it down or like what?
Not close it down, but just less games, less practices scheduled because. I mean, more or less games. There's still scheduled practices, but there's a lot of people taking time off now, going into the summer months, going up to cottages and things like that. So a little bit more games during school time and a little bit less during summer. So so it's nice to get that little bit of a break. Anyways,
summer's flying by. It's just
dude,
it's the middle of July.
Like damn. You are the way that time moves, and you'll understand it. Even better when and if you have kids or as you progress in your young life, you look back and it's like, oh my God, where did everything go? Honestly, it's insane. But the thing is that you can't stop it. So I've almost thought about like, I don't even really want to talk about like, oh my, because it is a trap. It is actually a trap. And it's just like every single moment of every single day, I feel like goes by so quickly because we could have the same conversation at the middle of the fall. Yeah. You know, and you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe it's middle of October already. And then me and you would have the same conversation. Wow, can you believe, hey, what'd you do for New Year's? You know, and then it's just like, wild. Anyways, anything catch your eye on that upgrade and downgrade?
I think nothing too crazy there. Some of the stuff we already covered, and I think Snowflake, you talked well about it. So nothing other than those for me.
All right, let's touch on some of the banks here real quick. We'll get into the watch list, but I just want to make a note. Citigroup, the CFO speaking right now. I'll double check, but the earnings call probably on. So C just popping up in front of me here, tagged 68.50 at the highs there, but coming back in. CFO making some comments currently for Citigroup, so keep that in mind. Let's get a look at the overall market here to kick things off on a Friday.
56.40, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES September contract. It was down much less than the NQ. We talked about that on the afternoon rundown. The ES fared a lot better, and with respect to support, it absolutely held that key area of support. Previously, resistance that we trended to from the 8th until the 10th. This is that 56 1/3 area. Let's see if we can defend that level. If we can, let's look to see if we can weasel up to the highs, 56.75, Brendo.
All right, brand new way to get the watch list if you haven't done so. The link now in the description below this video. So go there right now, or you can use the one on screen as well. Enter your email address as soon as you get there, and then you get that in your inbox every single day. Leave us a comment too. Let us know what you would like to see on the watch list if it's not there yet. Here is Tesla. Robo delays for Tesla came through yesterday. It was actually Bloomberg that reported this first, so it was a little bit skeptical initially, but yeah, you saw what ended up happening with Tesla. Ends the day, closes actually at the dead lows of the session. We gapped down again this morning. It's since recovered a little bit, but not good look here for Tesla.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you delay the robotaxi for a couple of months. To October we go to give engineers more time to build those prototypes. Tesla hasn't responded to any questions from reporters, nor has Elon Musk addressed this on X. This morning as well, UBS downgrading Tesla to sell and basically saying, you know, that they see a price target of $197 and not much higher. They attribute about $60 to $90 of that, Brendo, to the core auto business, about 57 of that to their solar and energy business, and about 18 or so for the robo-taxi business. And combined, it doesn't reach the current share price.
Yeah, trying to push lower right now for Tesla, guys. Already 2% here.
Yeah, that's we you know, Obi and I both looked at each other and said, like, are we in for a day two play here? And you know, yesterday the news wasn't great. I mean, it was bad actually, and there it goes to the downside again. And I feel like it's going to continue. I mean, this name is one of the most, I don't know, is it the biggest momentum name that's in the market right now? I mean, you could look at SMCI and things like that, MSTR, but those are more like sometimes a little bit insane momentum wise. But once this gets going, we've seen it go. Right, this went 40% in a month, or less than a month, in a couple of weeks, you know, and now you're got some wind out of its sails, and I think it continues to go lower. Unfortunately, this is the 200 period is at 205. I mean, we're not going to lose $30 in the next couple of days, but I would think that would be a spot where maybe you'd want to rebuy and then wait to hear what Elon has to say about all of this, and then not only that, but is this really a needle mover anyways? Like, did we really think that the robo-taxi, whether or not they talk about it in August, September, November, December, 6 months from now, I guess would be December-ish, does that really matter to the price of Tesla right now? Well, some think it does. I would feel that if you're still bullish on the company, you probably swoop in and start buying it at some point. That's a nice little gap fill from 230 to 240, so wouldn't be surprised at all if we dip into 230 today. That's a buying spot for me. I don't know why this says Tesla.ny over here. Let me just refresh that. So let's look at it at 20. I mean, there's going to be nothing over here. We've already broken through. You mentioned some levels yesterday, Obi, that you had in mind. Yep. There was the 245. I think you're even up here at 260-ish that you looked at as well. But there's that little 230. It goes back. And this is why I don't want anybody to panic. We've talked about this before. It does suck to miss tops. But this is only a week ago. If you come over to the screen right here, this is a week ago, right? So we're just here right now. This is on July 3rd. So, you know, we're back here. There's that gap. You know, nice little shoot up from 200. I feel that you could fill this. So I would look for a 230 buy in here, see if we can close that gap. I think that's, I don't know if that wick happened to real or not, but down there to 231 or so. So good little move there for Tesla. And I think we got to pick some of that up down there at 230.
Yeah, no, I
like
that low.
Actually.
I think, no, there's a low print. 4 a.m. I have a low print at 31.90.
Okay, so maybe, I mean, that's probably what these look
one.
like. All right,
yeah.
Could be a dark.
But I guess I do like to use the pre-market and after-hour charts just to be like, even if it's low liquidity and they get slammed, sometimes you see like where where orders may or may not be sitting because it just stops there and kind of gives you an indication. But yeah, no, strong little pullback that we've had all the way back in. So let me kind of get some of these back up here. I think I drew it on a higher time frame. Let's go to 3 hours. So yeah, I think that if we come right back into this is the trend resistance that I was talking about here from 2021, November of 2021, all-time highs that were printed. We squeeze out of this, and we're taking a little bit of a pullback again, catalyst-driven. The breakout was also slightly catalyst-driven as well, a little bit of fuel for that. And then yesterday, we got some more fuel for the flush with the robotaxi delay. Here, this is the anchored off of deliveries. We traded below that going into the end of the day. We attempted to bounce into it, and I know that Sean said he's looking at that potentially that 250. So we did reject that 250 in the later half of the day there, and we're pushing for a little bit lower here. So I'm like, all right, well, if this resistance turns into support, and we do a little bit of a continuation move, we're only about 25 points away from that 210, 2-teens-ish area here on Tesla. But yeah, wiping back some progress that we've made over the week. What is going on right now? But all right, so some progress from some bid from the week was definitely wiped off the book or the chart. As of yesterday's price action, should be interesting going forward today if that continuation, if that sentiment kind of follows through.
All right, let's go on to the banks here. As I mentioned, Citigroup, their call on currently looks like JP Morgan still making some comments here on their call as well. JP Morgan basically flat. It's positive on the day, but only just 0.14. Citigroup looks a little bit better. We got WFC as well, downside in a pretty big way, as we mentioned early on this morning. Couple more to come next week, including Goldman. They're always usually the last ones to come through.
Yep, now officially in bank or in earnings season now that the banks are reporting. All right, let's talk about how JPM did. So investment banking fees up 50% year over year, generating significant revenue. That's a good look for them. They also made more money from equity trading as a result as well. Wells Fargo didn't fare that well when it came to net interest income. That is the difference between the amount that they actually pay out for, these higher interest savings accounts as well as shorter dated bonds versus what they're actually getting from loans being loaned out. So a bit of a tougher look there. They fell short of analysts' expectations, Brendo, on the revenue side as well.
I just saw comments from this one as well, a smaller one, but Bank of New York Mellon also reporting BK higher, trying to test actually day highs right now, 3.5%.
All right, I was just trying to do something over here. Yeah, JP Morgan, look, I wrote down on the sticky note to watch out for XLF because we did have a bunch of earnings today in the bank sector. So I'll review that in just 1 second. But there goes JP Morgan, and Brendan mentioned before Citigroup possibly on their call right now. And that's always dangerous. It looks like obviously something here with JP Morgan as well, starting to bounce back up to the upside. Look, when you're trading banks and any earnings play, it's always the same for me, Obi. I do not prefer to trade the individual names when it is on earnings because of this reason. Like here it comes, earnings release, boom, up to 209, faded right back to 205, back up to 207, back down to 206, back up to 208 right now. So it's not that it's that violent. It's just, what is the reasoning for all of this? So right now, Jamie Dimon's probably speaking, or they're having their call, or not, or he's on CNBC, or they're somewhere, and it's just going to be discussed a lot in the AM. So for me, I'd rather have these names settle down a little bit, especially a move right here. And remember, we had Andrew Rader on yesterday, and the reason why I asked him about these names was I said, as a derivatives trader, is there anything in the banks? I thought JP Morgan, only with a 3% expected move, was way too under volatile. Like there was no big reason to even look at this name. And look at the daily chart here. Chop, 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 choppy earnings. Right? The name that I indicated to everybody in the last couple of days was Citigroup. I thought that this, as a chart, looked real healthy. There was really no chopping up here. It got to the high, it broke it. Came down the last couple of days, we saw why. Then boom to the upside today, breaking it out up to $68. But it was up to $68.50 and it's still falling back $1.50. So again, Citigroup, we can read the notes here. I mean, it's all over us. Go get it off. It's not watches.tradertv.live anymore, but you'll get that link. We'll put it up. You can scan for it. But Citigroup, again, good day today. The report here, net earnings of 152. It's in the description, right? Hit that. Good. Thank you, Fabian, for that. Hit the description below on YouTube. Citigroup, $1.52, beating $1.39. 80 billion versus 81 billion for fiscal compared to the estimates of just 80.5. So seems like they're doing well. The other side of the coin, of course, is Wells Fargo. And again, like, if you're going to pick charts, it's easy to look back in hindsight and say, like, all right, JP Morgan's choppy, therefore earnings release is going to be choppy. Citigroup breaking out, therefore it might be a better report. If anything, Wells Fargo, before the report, was at the 50 period and fading off of double, triple tops. So this kind of makes sense to me as well. If you like the banks and they say anything positive, look at the bottom this is in, right back there to April 18th, down into $55. Could be a good little long there for WFC. And one more, because it is on the sticky note. If you want to go find the sticky note, here it is here today. It is out and it talks about this. XLF, 42 long, banks in play, buy dips in the ETF. We've already talked about some of these levels there. I like it. I think it's a little safer to start buying dips in the ETF because you know what? JP Morgan's going to go higher at some point. Wells Fargo's at a great level and Citigroup is pulling back in. So, and by the way, there it is again. Happy birthday to my mother. So, you know, you're going to go on. There's XLF. We can look at it real quick, and then I'll throw over to Obi because I'm talking way too long once again. But there's 42. We kind of bounced off there. I don't, you know, it's an even level. It's the 50 period on the 20-minute chart. I like $42 on XLF. Let's just hope we remember to look at it.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Definitely, bank's going to be on watch. Citigroup, I think, is one of my number one picks for those, and yeah, Wells Fargo as well, kind of breaking multi-month lows below this 56 here, so got that on watch. JPM not really, kind of just sideways there, so not really, I don't really have eyes on it just yet. If it can kind of break some of this range here, I did go down and put in that anchored off of earnings, and we've kind of we've traded below it, a little bit above it, so a little sideways action there. But no, Citigroup definitely the one that I will be a little bit more focused on here. Caught a strong bid off of it. Something to note as well is breaking out of multi-month, multi-year highs right there. So we haven't seen some of these prices on Citigroup since 2022. February of 2022, we kind of sold off earlier on in that year. We're attempting to break some of these highs here. We've already been catching quite a strong bid as of October 2023. We've never looked back, breaking out of some of this previous level here. I have a strong, I guess, a support resistance, kind of an area mark here at 53. We broke past that. And then the next level I'm looking at as well is 69 over here on Citigroup. And if we get some of that strength in the pre-market, we're only about a couple points away from that level as well if we're looking for that continuation breakup. But yeah, solid earnings on Citigroup today. Let's see if we get some spicy action off of the open there.
All right, Nvidia trying to bounce here this morning back to green right now. It did dip back to negative territory briefly there, but we are trying to hold on to green so far this morning. Coming off that ugly reversal candle yesterday, if you go to a daily chart, you will see it. But do we get a bounce today? Piper Sandler saying no, and it should go lower.
Yeah, well, benchmark, I guess, taking the other side of that because they bumped up the price target, Brendo, from 135 to 170. Didn't really give much in the way of dialogue or commentary for the upgrade, but obviously NVIDIA doesn't need one. We saw huge retracement yesterday in the chips, and very few names were spared. Let's see if they fare better today. Right now, most of them are in green territory, Brendo, with AMD down a third of a percent.
Yeah, I mean, do we get some follow through here, guys? I guess that's the question for NVIDIA today.
NVIDIA. Yeah, I was going to go. You want to take one of these? And
sure, yeah.
Yeah, they're you know.
Yeah, no. I here's the thing. I was a little tunnel visioned yesterday, so didn't have the best kind of trades in terms of capturing a lot of the opportunities that were on the market, and Nvidia was definitely one I missed there. Kind of almost similar to well, a lot of things looked very similar to this kind of chart here, but we only broke back below about 3 days worth of trading range, right? So not as catastrophic as some of the other tickers. We know that Tesla broke back below a bunch of days worth of price action, but here Nvidia still holding above its earnings anchored. You can see that whenever it comes in, that earnings bid is definitely there every time. Very, very strong. Look at this pullback right here that we had in the end of June right here, almost 20 points of a pullback from 140 to 120. But look at that, catches a bid on earnings anchored. So the question becomes, we're still hovering much above that. If we get that continuation, I'm asking if the bid is still strong, if the bid is still there, where will we potentially find it? It seems like in and around that 120, 119.66 is where that anchored is sitting right now on a 15-minute chart. So let's see. We're 17. I guess we're at 127, about 10 points away, roughly just shy of 10 points away from those prices. But yeah, I'll be watching. The ATR on Nvidia is a little bit less than that, I think. But again, if we had almost an 8-point flush yesterday, so we can definitely get down into the low 20s if we continue with some of that action there. But then again, being a Friday. End of the week here, I'm curious to know what we do. Some of these prior day levels here, definitely on watch. 130, look at that strong flush, comes down, attempts to bounce, can't really get back above that 130, comes back in, can't get above that 130. Now we're trading a little bit lower here in the pre-market. So that 130, definitely a little bit of interesting price level here, and as well as this 126, kind of looking for that continuation to go. That 126 definitely will be interesting to watch as well, in my opinion. So that's what I got on Nvidia.
So my parents are watching, and I told that story a couple times about how, my father, this is maybe 20 years ago, maybe even more than that, when we were talking about buying Costco, he always used to buy it $50, sell it $75, sell it at $100, buy it back and forth, and then eventually when it takes off, you wonder why you ever sold any in the first place.
Yeah.
But yesterday, and I know my dad doesn't have Twitter, but yesterday I looked at this heat map of yesterday, and I was looking and saying, you know what? Like, which one of these names sticks out? And you actually mentioned something to me today as well, and I know that you might have caught your attention yesterday. So was it Nvidia down 5%? That happens a lot. Apple down 2 is a bit of a concern, right? Meta, Tesla down 8, but Tesla being up so much, right? Maybe Eli Lilly right there, but you know what caught my attention? Right here, Costco. And I actually wrote down right here, interesting, this is 10 hours ago. So the apple, I guess, doesn't fall far from the tree there, because I said the name that stands out to me is Costco. Then my mother just right now messages me and says, your father would like your take on Costco. So I was like, what? Like, I just tweeted this out yesterday that this was a very, very interesting name. So Dad, this one's for you for now. Look, they've raised prices, right? They added $5 a month to their $5 a year to their membership. That's nothing, but it's a needle mover because everybody continues to pay the membership fee. So that's nice. So that's going to just accrue right to their bottom line. So that's really nice. Up there to 928. But then yesterday you get this big push back in. Now the 50 period, Dad, is down here at 824. So I think you got to at least wait until we get into that level. And then I don't think we're in danger of getting down to 700. But this is the thing. There's so many retailers right now that it's kind of a mixed bag. We've talked about some of the difference in even Starbucks and McDonald's and some of the food space right now. Next week, we have retail sales. We have some retail numbers coming. We're going to see if the consumer is strong. If the consumer is strong, then I think you can get in there and start to dip buy on some of this Costco. I think that 825 to 50 period moving average, especially if we get another couple days like yesterday, even one more day, probably worth buying something up. But again, if the consumer is weak, and we'll get some data points next week, then I think you wait, because Visa's downside. I don't know if you've seen Visa or MasterCard lately.
Yep.
So those are to the downside, right? So there is potentially some kinks in the armor a little bit. However, if the interest rate environment sort of stays where it is, and the path continues with rate cuts, that should be better for the consumer, right? Hopefully helping out with some of those, loans that are outstanding, variable mortgage rates, so on and so forth. So let's see if the retailer is exactly strong and consumer spending remains high. So my take on Costco is not yet to buy, but that was a nice move down 4%.
Oh boy!
You definitely want to take advantage of that if you're dollar cost averaging. But to start a position, maybe a little bit lower.
Yeah, I like that. I like that look there. I guess I showed you this chart this morning, and it came up on my scans last night. Right. Again, had a catalyst. Yesterday was, I guess, day one of that catalyst move again with that news of increasing membership fees right there. But strong flush. And where does it find any sort of, any sort of orders, any sort of liquidity here, Sean? And look at that, earnings anchored. So prior earnings right here from the beginning of June, we've been holding and then straight quadunk. I would love to see what the book looked like on the way down here, all the way from 900 to 850. But look at that initial place where it just bounces off of right there, 850s to 860s. So like I saw that last night. I was like, oh damn! Like I talk about a little bit of a reversion. Sure, very much of a dead cat bounce, but a bounce nonetheless off of a significant area where we potentially can be looking for orders to be, as it's only held above that since their earnings report right there. Again, a $900 ticker, not that I guess liquid of a book. Where does it find some orders to kind of slow it down there? Apparently, earnings anchored is not a bad place to look here on Costco.
We were just talking about the joys of a Costco on a Saturday, and if you ever want to get an idea of how great a business Costco is, just go on a weekend. It's insane in Toronto. Anyways, Snowflake downside in a pretty big way here this morning. 130 coming into play initially on the bounce, but looking like it might want to roll over here once again. This headline is completely not even the story. There was a data breach. So AT&T customers, a lot of them affected with a data breach specifically related to Snowflake, but also with this Piper Sandler maintaining their overweight today.
Yeah, okay, Piper, I guess you got some skin in the game there. No, seriously though, guys, a big data breach. Hackers infiltrated AT&T's workspace on a third-party cloud platform that happened to be Snowflake. That's why Snowflake really getting beat up today. The data breach occurred between May 1st of 2022 and October 31st of that year. They did take numbers. They didn't take the actual text. They took numbers. They took text messages between different people. And then going online using publicly available databases, they could make the connections between the numbers and the names. So that's what caused a little bit of an issue here. They are trying to comply with what the regulator wants, but yeah, not a good look. And I made this point on the midday show, Brendo, multiple times with respect to these cybersecurity names. A lot of spending is being distributed between the different names to prevent specific issues like this. When one person gets breached, you don't want all your information to be in the hands of one person or one company and have all of that exposed. So you distribute it between different IT or cybersecurity names so that you're not exposed to that kind of weakness.
Yeah, it's becoming a weekly story here. It's just a matter of who it is. I was actually talking to our friends over at Pluralock. They've been on the show a couple of times yesterday. They're going to come back next week to discuss that as well. But yeah, I mean, there's every week it seems like there's another company had a data breach. It was Ticketmaster last week we were talking about. Here's Snowflake and AT&T now.
I'm going to short AMD 182. Okay, so look, it's random, right? But yeah, look, I mean, this is going to continue to happen. We've seen this before. I think we got CrowdStrike got hit a couple weeks ago on something like this, I believe. We've seen some data breaches with United Health, and they were using Palo Alto there, so PanW. Yeah, look, it's not good news for Snowflake. We've talked about liking this as an investment. We talked about it earlier on in the day as well. I'm long here at I think it's about 140 probably. I keep saying I should double check the price, but we bought some here at 150 and then again at 128. We know we bought some there. And then we're just holding it for a long term. I still like the story. We like anything to do with data. But again, is this something now that is worrisome when big money like AT&T all of a sudden now has to go out and maybe find, another provider? Are they going to stick with Snowflake? Is this sending red flags about potentially their business model? But we'll wait to see. Down 4% isn't necessarily a huge move. Yesterday, yesterday was actually 142 down to 136. Could have even dropped further than that. That 136 held. I actually was looking at that. We talked about this with Neil yesterday. And get well. Hopefully, Neil going to be in recovery very, very soon with his just little. I think now when you tear your Achilles, it's just a little small incision laser. Like it's just. He's literally in and out.
Yeah,
it's like 20 minutes or something like that. So we'll wait for good news and pass that along to everybody when he's there. But we were looking at 136, 136.50. So for me, that would be a short if we can get back up there, Obi. But I don't know. Again, into a day like today, I don't really want to look at this name. It's well under. I think the only place to look would be short. And right now, the 50-period moving average on the 20-minute chart is at 137. So that would sort of go with our 136.50 area. So for me, that's the short that we need to continue to look at for Snowflake. I don't think it's a long yet.
Yeah, no, I think looking at the larger picture here on the daily, you can see that Snow's been in a bit of a sideways consolidation since 2022. We attempt to break out at the beginning of this year. Can't really make a gap down on a couple earnings reports here back to back. Flushes off of the prior two earnings reports, and we're coming right back in to that lower end of the range here. So you can see on the daily chart, we're printing 133s in the pre-market right here, and that is that prior weekly low right here. So we're attempting to break a little, we're attempting to go a little bit red on the week right here. So you can see that more red on the week, 133s testing right now with a low of 122s. Again, with a negative catalyst happening, data breach, it traded down from 140s in and around 138, close yesterday, down to 130.44 pre-market lows. We're catching a bit of a 4-point bid back up to 134s. But yeah, I am curious to know how this name might carry forward in the trading day here. But I'm just going to drop a little bit of an anchored here again off of the event. Event being the catalyst, the news as well. So we'll see how we do with some of these levels going forward on the day today. But yeah, Snowflake definitely a little bit on watch as the day goes forward here. Let's see if that sentiment continues and we break towards that consolidation low.
We'll touch on Chinese ADRs to wrap things up here. JD.com, first off, trying to get back to session highs right now after a huge day yesterday. This seems to be an e-commerce related rally the past couple of days. There was actually a note that essentially said late in the day yesterday that sellers on e-commerce platforms in China running out of margin space, getting tighter and tighter because of the companies charging more and more. So despite that, all of these, I mean, there's JD, there's PDD, Baba, also huge gap to the upside this morning as well. So 2, 3, even 4 days in a row here.
Oh yeah, good look for these all these e-commerce businesses out in China. So this is a look here. Apparently there's a good trade surplus hitting record high in June. So surging exports certainly outpaced the drop in imports. So exports reach about $308 billion, which is the third consecutive month of growth. Obviously that has the effect of benefiting those who are exporting and who's exporting some of these Chinese e-commerce sites like Alibaba, PDD, and Shein. Now, trading apparently, Brendo, they listed for their IPO back on the FTSE in London, so possibly being trading there.
I've been seeing more and more Temu ads of late for some strange reason as well on social media everywhere. I just saw a note or a comment, anyways, from AT&T. Remember, AT&T was the other side of that Snowflake story this morning on the data breach, so it did pop up there. Doesn't really say much, but did pop back to the upside there for AT&T.
Okay, yeah, Chinese
I'm
ADRs.
just going to set this up. All right, so we're already in position right now, so hit the sirens up here. I just want to talk about it. We're short AMD at 182. We said we would like that position, so let me just talk about that real quick. We do have Alibaba as our #1 trade idea here at 79.50. We've been looking at Alibaba long for a minute. The last couple of days, we had them on our watch list and on the sticky note for longs both times, and it just kept going. Look, this is 183. I think we could fade off of that. We take a 182. I mean, it was down at 181 when we put it in there. Spikes up on the imbalance. Let's wait to see if we can get stopped out here at 183. And again, it's right here. It's the 50 period on a 200 minute, 20-minute chart, 50 period moving average. So that's why we'll take it. Plus the bottom there yesterday, 182 there, dropped off. Yep, the 11th. So that's a nice move. We'll see if we can get that short back in right here for AMD. And there it is. It's already 40 cents in the money if you take the bid, and then the bid closes. All right, so I like Alibaba here. Again, if China's going to start curbing short sellers and stuff like that, and margin requirements and everything, then yeah, I mean, why can't this continue to work? Yesterday, we liked the long down here at 76.50. Never got there. That were those wicks there. We thought it could go at baseline, then went. Then it stopped and didn't do anything all day. So watch out for VWAP, watch out for a baseline and go. So I'm hoping that happens in and around 79.50. If it does, we're long. I like Alibaba. I like the Chinese ADRs. It is your number one idea on here. But now I'm in AMD, so we got to start to rock and roll. As the market's little by little trying to climb up here. We even have Apple trying to get back up to 230. That's another level that we want to look at. So, hey, we said patience was important here today. We're in a small spot right now with AMD, but we are going to remain patient. My next offer's up here at 182.75. Good luck to everybody. Only 45 seconds. Anything on China?
Nothing much. Just watching that Baba gap up above some of these prior levels here. Let's see if we get that continuation. Again, very strong since the beginning. The beginning of the month here, July 1st. You can see the bid that's been catching. Now we're breaking some of these June levels here, just on top of that 80. So that's what I'll be watching there on Baba. But again, like I said, be watching the market here. Market's definitely in play a little bit. PPI on the day today. Citigroup on watch as well. So that's what I got.
Okay, here we go. We got the countdown ready to rock and roll. Adair is going to be on the bell today, as every day, I think, pretty much. And here we go with only 5 seconds left. Right now, she's pondering something. 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. The market is open, and we are in one position, and it's a really, real small one right now. It is AMD, and there we go. We take out a little bit for 50 cents on AMD. So we get hit there for a 50-cent winner. As here it comes back down, we are now in the money. Still 50 cents as we wait to see what happens here with AMD and the rest of them. Hopefully we get a nice downside kick. To start off with, let's see what's happening with Tesla. I know that was something that was on everybody's mind. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can get a little bit better of a look on this one. Tesla, still waiting to get short here if you wanted it around 240 yesterday's close. But there goes AMD trying to break through 181.50. I'm bidding 181s, so maybe we get a little bit of a flush early here on AMD. But you know what? It's a little silly. Let me put one more bid here at 50, see if we can get that, as it looks like it just resisted that 50-period moving average right there. So good short there, but it looks like it wants to get me even shorter up near 183. If we take out 183, man, ciao. We're gone on this one, and we'll figure out something else later.
There goes the cues. There goes the market right there. So I was like, we're holding that consolidation there. Again, PPI on the day today. And the market giving us a little bit of a hold of VWAP and pop right off of the open there. So that's pretty nice. There it goes. VWAP and pop.
I like that. That's a new one.
I'm looking at, I guess, what am I looking at for TQs? So let's pull up the chart here. Prior day consolidation highs right there at 80. If you throw on an anchor to yesterday's CPI's action right there, sure, we accelerated heavily off of those VWAPs right there, all the way up at 81.34. So let's see if we can kind of get up there. But again, trading a little bit sideways here as that pop gets flushed right back in. It is the beginning of the day, just off of the open there. So volatility is definitely a little bit expected there. JPM flushing to the downside. Citigroup coming down as well. So I was looking for a continuation, to be honest, as it was breaking out of the weekly. So maybe now looking for a little bit of a dip to sustain if that's even going to be the case here. Let's see what else is going on across the board. Softy to the downside, Nvidia to the upside, Alphabet to the upside, and Apple as well. What do you got going on?
We've got dollar winner right here with AMD, and it could have been a little bit more than that. We were bidding 81.01. It just went down to 81. There it is right there. That is it. That's your hot dog cannon trade of the day so far. One trade, and it's $1. And we were almost short, man. We were waiting for 75s. It got to 57s, and ciao. See you later for AMD. We talked about that one. But guess what's back? It's Shady's back. Oh, yeah, he has a new album out here today. I got to go check that out. I don't know if it's any good or not. I have not. Toby is insane. I talked about that yesterday. I really like that one. Baby Tron and Big Sean. Right there. So, okay, anyways, Apple, nice little pull up into 230. We were going to look at 230 today. So if we do blast higher through that level, we gone. We do not need to be short this big name into a rally market. So let's wait. Market trying to pull back a little bit. Oh, no, Obi, there it is again. We'll go one more time for Apple. Let's see if it can come back into the downside. We just got filled there at 30s. Wow, maybe it gets lower. Who knows? Good trade there for AMD. It bounced off 180.50. Hey, that's the pre-market bottom. Let's see if it goes lower than that, though.
I'm kind of looking at the Citigroup here, kind of holding the 65. And to go back to what you were saying, I always get excited when Eminem has a new song or new album coming out as well. Again, one of my favorite. What you have to? Oh, Ravina's saying you have to be long to be called Big Sean there, and I guess Sean's in.
She doesn't know me well enough.
She doesn't know me well.
Okay, so.
Market catching a little bit of a bid.
Okay, here we go. So if this blasts through 230, we're gone. So it looks like Apple, no, it's good. There it is. It's a good thing we took that profit. They're one story of two names here. Apple, you know what? Was that just a fail up there? I'm going to try again. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, good. We're short again. All right. Let's just see that. Let's put that up. What was that? See, sometimes when you break key levels there, it's like you got to give it a little bit of room. That's 230.10s. We didn't really do that there. So let's put that back. If we break too much higher, then that will get out. So we'll try it one more time. But again, this is how we find ourselves getting in trouble, remember, where we just keep shorting things for no reason because we're like, was that the top? Well, it doesn't need to tell me that too many times. So let's just give it a chance here to see if this wants to work. AMD is falling again. We're going to take a piece out here if we can do that. So there it is. We did take that out at 70s down there. As AMD is the trick, right? This is the one that just fell in. So why we're short Apple, I don't know. We didn't really look at that so much today, but there it goes through the 230, so we'll give it up right there. Stubborn on that one. We should not have gone back to the well when AMD's $1.50 in the money. Now AMD's $2 in the money, so that's a good trade there, but we did give some off back on Apple. Look at that. We just got stopped out of Apple again at the high side there. 20s. What was our stop? 230.25, and then it pulls back 80 cents. You kidding me right now? All right, that's too bad. Bad out for me on Apple, but that was a great... Dude, we got out 80 cents ago. Wow, that was a big one. Okay. All right, let's go back over and see what you're up to here, Obi. I'm going to go check out some BABA and some SPY. I guess SPY didn't get to 259, did it?
Yeah, no, Spider's just kind of just holding on. It's opening range there, not really doing too much. Yeah, Apple's the only one that's really blasting there.
We're almost $3
I'm still kind of holding on to this TQs as it trades sideways. We got that strong wick off of PPI there, looking for a little bit of that direction to kind of continue there as we slam down. Again, we were sold off quite extensively yesterday. 400. What's going on, Adara?
Couple small caps moving around here today. QuantumScape QS trying to pop up again here. We also have Centage holdings here. SNTG, definitely not near its high of day, up about 33% right now, but getting a bit of a volume pop. Worth noting for this one, you have a float of only 1 million shares, guys. So SNTG on watch.
Oh, man, I want to... Right? Oh, man, I may be throwing up.
Oh, man.
Early here. Yeah, no, it looks like Apple wants to go to the downside. Look at this out we had there at 180.75. This did drop down to 179.50. So, yeah, let's be careful and see if we can get that out one more time here for AMD. Look, the market's doing absolutely nothing right now. So we already wrote down here, be patient. And what did I do? I got into Apple pretty quickly there and then just kind of left it alone. So we should have waited a little bit more. It's still at 230. This is still a level that we wrote down. So I feel like if we can get back up into this area, then we should probably try a short in and around there. But for right now, we're kind of stuck on Apple. So I'm going to give it that extra little chance to give us back into 230 right now, 230 teens. And then if we can get that in, then we'll trade it back because it just fell there for no reason again. So maybe we get a bump up and then we'll fade it and then we'll just stop out real quick again if it doesn't work. But I still think the Apple short here at 230 is something to look at. So yeah, good day yesterday for Apple for the short sellers. Let's see if it can happen again there now. AMD really battling back. This could be another fade. But the market's above view up and above the 50 and looking to go higher here. So actually, I'm going to cancel that Apple strategy, I think, and just see about working on trades that have been working for us. Let's go over to Adara.
Another small cap on watch here, EVGO. This is EVGO. We've had this one move here in the past. It has market cap about $1 billion, short float about 10.5%, getting a $5 price target and a buy rating maintained here by Benchmark, guys.
Okay. Benchmark Capital. We'll take a look at that. What are you working with over there?
I don't know. I'm looking across the board, trying to stay patient. Again, the past couple of days, I really kind of reflected. I was like, well, my mental might not be in the right places because I'm like not focused on, I guess, the right stuff. Like all day yesterday, I kind of chopped up AMD when Tesla had to move, Nvidia had to move. Like there's so many opportunities around. What am I doing tunnel visioning on one thing? But another thing that I kind of realized is like, all right, well, you can, if you want a tunnel vision on something, the market is definitely in play. So that might be something that could be a good focus. But something that is blasting, Sean, is Intel. So I'm looking at what are the things that are actually catching a bid right now. The market is kind of trickling up right there, holding some of these VWAPs there. I'm talking about the NQs and the ES right there. But yeah, Intel hella strong right off of the open. So is Apple. Softy not as much. Spider still within its opening range there. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the tech basket here as well. ARM getting a little bit of a bid, but Intel is the one I have eyes on now because of the strength that it's kind of showing there. Citigroup broke below that 65 mark. So yeah, good earnings, got a little pop off of it. We had a high of 68.59, but now we're trading 4 points lower, a little bit more than 4 points lower, 64.40s incoming here on Citigroup there. So we did break below that 65 mark right there. Pre-market consolidation low as well here in and around some of these levels off the earnings reaction. What's going on, Adara?
Couple catalysts there in that INTC to contextualize that Intel move. We did have late yesterday, we had Intel's CTO, Chief Tech Officer Greg Lavender, saying the company's aiming for $1 billion in software revenue by 2027. We also have coming out apparently, Intel is investing in this Israeli AI construction company. So AI investment and this software revenue goal here for INTC, guys.
Okay, good little look there. We did get back into the short. You know, I looked over here when I was getting all peed off, and Sharif's just like, shake it off. So you know what we did? We got right back into Apple, and we just took 50 cents there. So let's see if it can come back in a little, sorry, 40 cents. Let's see if it can come back in and take a 229.50 area or so, you know. We'll see. There it is. There's that short rate there. The other name that I was just looking at and trying to line it up was Tesla. I thought maybe we were going to go to this for a break with Adara, but there it goes. Tesla, nice move to the upside. Now almost green for the day as Tesla was down there to 234. That was a good little level, obviously, when you're looking at it in hindsight. But there it goes. Now we just have to play pullbacks now, right? So I'm actually bidding 237. I don't know if we're going to get it. I mean, this move is quite extended now. It seems like
look at it go.
Are you in this? No, you're in the TQs. Good move. There, as the NASDAQ continues to go higher. Man, I like trading with you for sure. Nice move, 241 and trying to go higher there for Tesla. Yesterday's close already taken out. So, well, at it right now, but nice move here for Tesla getting back going. Look at that big red candle on sale for yesterday. Again, we talked about this. Does the robotaxi actually tip the needle right now for Tesla's current standing? I don't think so. They're the only EV car company in the United States that are making money every time they produce a car. So good job so far there for Tesla, continuing to move higher. I'm playing pullbacks on this name. And the Apple win was potentially short-lived, but we did take some out. Let's just see. I'm going to give it one more shot against that high. Again, the market is trying to go higher here. So one last shot. We don't necessarily need to be short in a market that's doing this. I was pretty bearish about today. Let's see if we do continue to hold these highs right now. So again, a PPI number that was a little bit hotter there, sent the market lower, but then we battled back within that very next minute. There goes AMD now back down in $1.34 in the money. Let's see if we get a low tick into 180 again for AMD.
Yeah, I'm just watching the cues here. We attempt to push that. I guess we try to go to 20,500. Can't really even get past that 20,480. But yeah, that bid kind of coming in, a bit of a wicking, bottom wicking action there on Softy, getting picked up as well, and Amazon as well. Amazon trading in and around that 195 area. And yeah, Google actually looking a little bit different as well. It was very strong off of the open, and we're pulling right back in on Google. But Apple, that 230, Sean, is coming in. That 229 prior day kind of bounce high. You are wow, nice short on AMD.
Oh, on AMD. Thank you, my guy.
Let's go.
As AMD goes into the gates of hell. Wow, okay, AMD. So we just took that out at 180. We just talked about that, right? And we were like, hey, maybe we should stop focusing on Apple and just focus on a name that we've nailed right here at 182. We got that one in the pre-market though, right? So that was a good trade for us. We had highlighted it. We were waiting for more up here. We talked about the 183, but it only got to 56 as we were at 75. So I'm still there. You know what? I might as well just cancel that right now. I don't know how to have too many pending orders, but we are in Apple again. I don't know. We have consumer sentiment. We talked about this when we were talking with my father earlier there, and it was, Michigan sentiment coming out right now, consumer sentiment. So we'll see. That could absolutely destroy this Apple trade. It's coming out in 2 minutes. Like, if the consumer is strong, I mean, hey, maybe we are lining up to get those iPhones, right? We'll see. Let's go. Bring it down. Look, I'm just taking 15 cents here, honestly, on this trade. We do have... This is our biggest position yet, just because it was at these highs, but it's still not a huge position. So I don't want everyone to think that we're really going for it here, because we're not. I am putting a bid down here. Give me those 83s. Yes, there it is. It's a big enough position to do this, though. There it goes. Let's go. Bring the pain down now for Apple. Hey, man, can we go green on Apple just by making it back right here? A big shout out to the professor, man. He told me not just calm down, but hey, it's early, you'll get it back. And we wrote down patience, and it is a virtue, man. And there it is right there. Let's go, Apple. Yes, sir. 50 cents back in the pocket on that one, Obi. We just have to wait, man. Oh, yeah. Why are we putting on patience onto our note and then getting involved at 9:31? Man, this is like... I like this job too much, to be honest with you. But at the same time, you got to be patient, right? If you're playing with real money here, it's not worth getting too carried away. But we've seen some big plays happen off the open. Like, if I don't get involved in AMD, then I don't have it. So you got to sort of calm down on some of that, like figuring out when to get in. It's the right stocks at the right time at the right prices. That's always going to win. So, and by the way, you know who's winning again today?
Who is?
Elon. I mean, this is now up 1%. Yeah. The market is red.
You got an email from him earlier today.
I did. You saw the email I got from Elon Musk. Didn't I?
Yeah, you did. You did. I mean, that's what it said.
That's what it said. It was from like some random name I couldn't even figure out. And it goes, this email is from Elon Musk. Please take it seriously.
Totally believable.
I just pushed delete forever right there. Because Elon contacts me personally. He has my cell phone. Why would he get some other guy to contact?
Yeah, of course. Come on. Yeah, exactly, right?
He's sliding into the DMs, right there. Sure. That is right. Okay, so by the way, Apple continues downside movement. We're taking more and more out. Now 50 cents in. We just got a great fill down there in the 60s. Let's see if it goes a little bit lower. What's up, Abe?
Speaking of Tesla, we have another EV company on watch here. It's going to be Lucid Group, LCID. No news on this one from today, but it got a bit of a midday pop yesterday with the CEO saying that the company does need to raise more money for growth and highlighting that this Saudi firm PIF would be a good long-term partner for EVs in general. So potential Saudi partnership here for LCID from yesterday, potentially some carryover catalysts. Worth noting as well, 10.5% shortflow for Lucid, guys.
Flying, apparently. We are now 50 cents in the money on this one. We're now $1.30 in the money on AMD, Apple. Go ahead, Obi.
Yeah, no, kind of strength coming right back in. So the Qs pull into VWAP right there. I'm looking at TQs here. So it comes right in, slams down, stalls at VWAP, and I go to look to get some more in, and it just wipes all the way back up. And I'm like, no, I wanted 79.40s, not 79.80s. Now I'm just going to be chasing. I was like looking at Sean. I was like, well, I need to get a lot more on this if it holds. And there goes the Qs, and we are blasting to the upside here. So probably going to get stopped out here on the Intel trade, but that TQ is coming in real nice there as of right now. Again, we talk about that anchored from prior days action all the way up at 81.26. So if we're going to do a little bit of a recovery, I'm just looking back at this 80.13 end of day kind of high there, and then 80.64 as well. Again, confluenced with that 20,500 mark. Can we get above that 20,500? We're only about 20 points away there on the TQs. On the Nasdaq there. But yeah, no, let us know what you guys are trading right off the open there. We know that there's been a lot of opportunities. Intel with the catalyst as well, coming in pretty hot, continuing that little bit of a bid.
There goes Apple.
Keep an eye on Alphabet here, GOOGL. This report coming in from Search Engine Land saying that The Atlantic has confirmed that it has granted permission for its content to be included in OpenAI's search product. So potentially this OpenAI search product coming out with Atlantic saying that they are going to be included in this search product. Not a great look for Google with its Google search. So we'll keep an eye on this potential search product for OpenAI, guys.
Damn, Apple. 229.50 right now, so starting to go to the downside as AMD trying to get back upside. We're just chilling out on everything right now. I mean, it's a tale of sort of 2 days here as we were at one point really happy to be short, the other time be happy to be long, as we go back and forth here again today as Apple now bringing the pain down to the downside, almost 70 cents in the money there. And then here we go with AMD, our other trade battles back to the upside. I thought that's, oh, what happened to Apple right there? Okay, we just got 229. Wow, we just got 229.25s right there for Apple. That was at 90 cents, so that was a good one coming back in there for Apple. So let's see if it wants to continue to sing a little bit here. Lower, 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 going down to the downside for Apple. I did want to look at Alibaba, was another name that we had in mind for 79.50. Once again, that does not look like it wants to come through. Check out some of the health of the banks. We wanted 42 flat. That comes to 42.14. So we miss on that one, but we'll wait to see if there's anything happening over there. Citigroup was the strongest of them all, but as you can see, they do all fall. So there goes Citigroup downside. Wells Fargo as well. That caught a bit. It looks like a little bit there. Wells Fargo down 7%. Why is it has to be JPM? No. Why is XLF holding up here then? I don't know why. Okay, let's go back over. Obi, is there anything you're looking at right now?
No, the Qs are blasting right there. We're coming into that level right here from prior day at that 80.13 that I was talking about. Just that high before the close, we did attempt to bounce there, and then another level here at that 80.60 on the TQ. So going to be watching that. Got stopped out of the Intel, obviously, again, with the Nasdaq this strong, and then again with Intel with a bit of a catalyst there. Yeah, I was expecting to get stopped out after that push to the upside. Here comes 20,500 there, Sean. So what can we do with this 20,500? I guess the sentiment off of this PPI is pretty decent. We ripped right back up. So we dropped down to, what is that, 20,000, 334s, 340s-ish, just shy of 340s, and then we rip right back up as if nothing happens back to 420, hey yo, and now we are pushing up to 20,500 on the NQ. So a little bit of a continuation off of that sentiment that was very clearly shown off of CPI, not CPI yesterday, PPI today, coming in a little bit better than expected there. 80 still holding as of right now. We're holding some of those levels there from prior day. I'm going to be looking for that continuation. Let's see if we magnet up to that volume weighted average price, which has been anchored to the CPI all the way up at 81.25. Right now, you got to ask yourself, what is the ATR on TQ? But while I get back to you with that, we're going to go to Adara real quick at the big desk.
This part of the show brought to you by Benzinga Pro. Tired of being late to the trade? Always playing catch up in the market? Missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else. Pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit Visit benzinga.com/pro and get a free 14-day trial.
Sarah loves Benzinga so much, she can't, it's just she's so excited about that. So shout out to everybody at the Benzinga platform there as I use it. It's in my ear right now. And I mean, that's what we hear from right now. Apparently something about Starbucks hitting in my ear right now. We'll see about that in a minute. But right now, here goes, nice move here. Oh, don't tell me they're saying that there's an activist maybe here in Starbucks. Oh, come on. My play yesterday on Starbucks, I mean, it's a nice move up. We talked about trying to buy that dip there yesterday in Starbucks. So let's wait to see. Okay, AMD, by the way, is at our 183 level. We're short at 182.50. So remember, like we said, a tale of two stories here. And it looks like today, right now, AMD gives it to us good early, but not really late right now. It's come all the way back upside there as well. We did get stopped out of our last 10% of Apple. We talked about that, but it's looking like a problem again right now for AMD as that is going up right now against us. So the market, I know you're long. Congratulations on that one, Obi. That's a great trade. But right now we are trying to hold out for a move here on AMD to pull back just a little bit. We're short here at 53s, sorry.
Yeah, no, market's ripping up. So I was asking, what are we going to do with that 20,500? We sliced right through it and pushing, continuing to push up as well. So yeah, obviously the TQs are moving along with the NASDAQ off of that break there. 20,500. Next level I'm looking at is that 80.67 right here, this prior high on the TQs. Can we get there? We're only about 30 pennies away from there, but still holding that 20,500 should be interesting. Apple pushing that 230. I'm looking for the next trade there. Nvidia looks a little bit enticing there as well, pushing back up into some of its prior days, end of day consolidation highs. TSM quite strong as well. Yeah, VanEck pushing. So yeah, no doubt I would get stopped out on that Intel short as well. Was looking for a bit of that reversion, but it might be a little too early as that reversion kind of fails and we print some fresh highs there. JPM to the downside, Wells Fargo to the downside, Citigroup to the downside. So a lot of all the banks that reported today taking a little bit of a sell-off right there. And some names from yesterday. We know that Pepsi reported yesterday. So let's take a quick look at Pepsi as well. Let me just, you know what? I'm gonna put this here, right there. Okay, cool. Let's take a quick look at Pep here. Pepsi taking a little bit of a pullback there. Strong bid off of the earnings. Earnings day 2 happening today. So we got that continuation. Wow, look at that. 165 breakout of earnings day 1 high goes to 167. So day 2 play on Pepsi morning drive was definitely nice. I missed out on that one. Let's take a look at DAL as well. We know that Delta took flight yesterday off of that earnings support at that 42 right there. So strong flush. Nice little SSR bounce, closing near the high a day at 45. Talk about getting along and hitting the MOC there on something like that. That's absolutely wild. We're taking a little bit of a pullback here. Let's see if that bid that came in end of day at that 43.78 comes right back in on Delta on an earnings day 2. Market's hella strong. We are pushing that 20,500. I got Tesla on watch as well. Tesla is pushing that 245 there, Sean. And I see that you are in AMD. Now, AMD, I had a little bit of a battle with AMD yesterday, and so I'm kind of avoiding it as of right now. I'll get back to it if and when it kind of sets up as something. Yesterday, a nice little range that happened between 180 and 178 for a couple of hours end of day. Flushes. Look at this. It kind of looks like that GME chart with the cat ears here. 187 area. Oh boy, flushing. Pretty hard on that day 1 of news, and then day 2 as well. Can't really get back above that 187. What's going on, Adara?
Keep an eye on Starbucks here, SPUX. Sean mentioned this earlier. I'm just seeing this come through in Benzinga. Apparently, traders circulating an unconfirmed rumor that Starboard could have a potentially large activist position in the company. Did not see any circulation of this on Twitter, but this coming out here, just beware, potential activist position for SPUX. They also got a price target decrease from Morgan Stanley from $104 to $98. So SPUX on watch, guys.
Oh boy, as Obi was going over that there, we were able to get out of AMD, a lot of AMD down here at 182. Yeah, good trading there. We were out of the money, obviously, on this trade, and then it came right back. And now I'm debating reloading it again, but look at this market just continuing to sing here. I don't know, our stop is 183, so I'm just gonna let this go. We don't even have a big position left. So let's just see if it gets stopped out, and then we'll just regroup, right? We said let's have some patience. We could be wrong. And we haven't been exactly right today, that's for sure. But, our net is fine. And here comes pull back in a little. Okay, pull back in. Wow, that's a good pull. Remember, we do give me those 61s. I don't know why we just bid that, but if we can get 61s, we'll do it see, we could have just reloaded it there again short. Talked ourselves out of it a bit. And sometimes you got to do that. I would have just taken that profit. Obviously, I'm sitting here at 60. Why am I at 61 when it just bounced off 63 again? There it goes. Yes, sir. Hit a little bit of a bang-up trade right there. And I just talked myself out of reloading that for some reason there, Obi, and we talked about having some confidence. I don't have it right now in this market for the shorts. It's a long game right now. We got to try to find some good longs. You're in that market. We are still waiting for SPY.
Yeah, a little bit of reversion happening here. Into yesterday's levels. Yeah, Spider as well. Spider giving you great opportunity.
It's up to 559 right now. What the heck?
Yeah, 559 right now. We talk about that 80-60 area. Look at that TQ. 3-minute prior bar low has not been broken as of right now. Strong momentum to the upside. We pulled back into 20,500 here on the DAC, and we caught a bid right back up. Came right back up to some of those levels there. Let's take a look at Okay, so I got two charts up here. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq
Market's
here, real quick.
doing
I want to look at some of prior day levels. Now, this chart here is slightly delayed,
we went long,
but you know what? I don't really care about the delay on this chart. I'm looking for some of those prior day levels to potentially come in right now. So you know what I'll do? I will put up that anchored on this chart as well, just like I have on the TQs, just to get a little bit of that confluence. What am I looking for here on the on the Nasdaq? For that not earnings anchored, that CPI anchored from yesterday, sitting all the way at 20,581, and we're only about I guess 40 points away from that level right there. So 40 points for the DAC, it can definitely do that very quickly there. But yeah, I'll continue to watch this. We got a number coming out in 1 minute right here. So let's see what we got in store for that. 80.69 coming in here on the TQs. What's going on, Adara?
This could be bad because the numbers come in.
We're just waiting here for this 10 a.m. data, the Michigan consumer sentiment. This is going to be the preliminary print for July, so not the final July number, but the preliminary number. We are looking for 68.5 consensus, 68.6 forecast here for this Michigan sentiment. It'll be slightly higher than the previous number of 68.2. Of course, we did get that PPI or data coming early today, mostly above expectations here, especially these year-over-year prints. So we have to wait and see what numbers we get. Just that coming in a few seconds here, 10 a.m., this Michigan consumer sentiment data. Here we go. Okay, so we have here for the consumer sentiment print coming in 66 here, so well below this consensus of 68.5 and the forecast 68.6. We also have consumer expectation 67.2, below 69.8 consensus and forecast. Consumer current conditions 64.1, also below consensus and forecast 66. Then Michigan inflation expectations 2.9% here. So this is actually lower than the forecast as well. Same with the 5-year expectations. So generally these numbers coming in below expectations. Chief among them, the consumer sentiment print preliminarily for July 66 here, guys. Market not really seeming to care about this. We've had lower than expected Michigan consumer sentiment prints bring down, but here's the SPY continuing to push higher. Some stocks on watch today include JP Morgan, a lot of these other major banks as well as Citigroup and Wells Fargo. JPM here to the downside despite having EPS and revenue beats. CEO Jamie Dimon saying that there's a concern with booming spending growth. The spending growth not as large as they would like here. We also have Snowflake, SNOW, this one trying to climb higher, still down about 2.75%, getting a price target decrease here from Piper Sandler, and also part of this AT&T data breach, Snowflake being implicated in that as well. So SNOW to the downside, guys.
All right, thank you, Adara there.
Yeah,
super strong off that number.
About that.
Yeah.
I guess now they are going to cut, I guess, as it looks a little bit better there. As we talked about possibly having that consumer number come through and have a quick look at it. We're short the spiders right here after 59's where we wanted it. So we're okay. I was going to give this up to 60. We sort of looked back at where we were yesterday. It actually, what chart was I looking at? It must have been the minute chart here for you. Just to zoom back out to the spiders. Yeah, right into here. So I just want to see about these levels coming into play again. We've almost battled all the way back for this. So again, maybe they were waiting for this number, maybe not. But I'm not just going to scalp quickly out of this one right now. Let's just let it work a little bit here for the futures. It's a huge move up. Again, I mean, I don't know if we were expecting this, but nicely done to the upside there. Good trade for Obi, but we are not going anywhere with this short, not now. So let's wait, man. AMD's at that 183 as well. We're just trying to find good plays. Yesterday, Amazon, it's funny that we're both on the desk here. We both probably trade the most Amazon, I would say, on the floor, you and I. Perhaps. And we haven't even looked at it. I haven't anyways. Amazon today, green, but barely. So that kind of goes with what we're thinking here. If you're going to trade a weak name, maybe Amazon is that. We know that there's still that underlying sell pressure with Jeff Bezos. So we'll see. That had a nice little bump up right here. But right now, my bet is sort of made. We're going to wait to see what happens here with the spiders as it's trying to come back. I was waiting at 559.40s right there. It got as high as 34s. So we do miss that reload. That would have been nice. But we're going to give this to 560 anyways. So let's see where we go right now. It is the SPY back to flat on this trade.
kind of holding some of those levels. We did push right up. We talked about that that anchored on the DAC being right at 20,580, and we come into I guess 70s, right? So just shy of that 80 mark right there, still holding well above. So yeah, a little bit of reversion happening, it would seem, in terms of the price action that's going on here. And okay, so Intel is continuing to the upside. I did try once more here with a little bit of a wider risk, but I got some out of that TQs right before the number comes out there, as we were running up quite aggressively right into the number there. So now we're getting a little bit of a sell-off here. So you know what? I am done with that one right there. A little bit of a distinctly different behavior happening on the Qs with a little bit of a pullback. Sure, we can continue. We can push that 81. We can continue back to the upside there. But again, looking for that relative difference here in terms of behavior, and we are breaking. Look at that. So we talk about using prior bars as a little bit of an indicator there. This is the first time 3 minutes broken that prior bar low right there on the Qs. So I do want to just exit the position and then reassess. If we're going to reclaim and then continue back to the upside, that's perfectly fine as well. We can take another look at it a little bit later there as it wicks. Is it going to go green there? We still have a minute 30 seconds for this 3 minute candle to print with an open at 87. So yeah, we're pretty strong there. So yeah, just gonna be a little bit more patient here and looking for the next trade potentially. So I guess I'm watching earnings as well. Right, we said Citigroup still selling off to the downside here, so not as strong as I was looking for it to be, but that's fine. I'll take a look at it. If it catches a little bit of a bounce, look at that, both anchored and regular VWAP here, trading well below that. 65, I was looking at being a little bit of an interesting area. 65.30s prior day consolidation low, and we slam right through that. Earnings reaction low, 64.40s, and we are trading well below that mark as well here on Citigroup. So I guess short was the right idea there if you had it. Opening range, let's take a look at the 5 minute opening range. Okay, so yeah, 5 minute opening range break happens at 64.86. And look at that retest. You attempt to retest that opening range low on the 5 minute, you cannot get above it, and then you were trading over a point lower there on Citigroup there. So the first question I'm asking right now is, what is their ATR? 1.39 is Citigroup's ATR. Now, of course, earnings day one, you expect it to do some RVOL. Look at that RVOL in the pre-market, over 20 times here on the 5 period, coming off of the open there, just doing shy of 4 times the RVOL there on Citigroup. So should be interesting. Let's see if we get a little bit of a continuation. I was thinking maybe that earnings sentiment was taken well with that initial reaction, but off of the open, anything can happen, and happen it did, with some of these banks flushing to the downside here. So I guess I know Sean was looking at XLF. Take a quick look at XLF and see what's going on with XLF. So XLF, a bit of sideways action, made a high of 42.30s right there, comes down to 42.08. Still trading within some of yesterday's range. Yesterday looks really nice though, catching a bit of a VWAP bid on XLF. So it should be interesting. TQ's coming right back in to some of those highs. Let's see if this momentum has actually dissipated, or we have more of the same that we saw coming right off of the open. Now, it's only been just over half an hour of the trading session. So
yeah, we're just getting going, I think. All right, so again, good little look there, obviously, as we watch this market continue to go to the upside. So yeah, a little bit of a different day here for me anyways, as we're just been in the spiders right now. We traded them really well yesterday. We're going to try to have a look again at these futures. Me and Obi sort of looked at each other earlier and was like, what names are really going to be active? And we kind of thought that maybe the market might be something today. So we're going to continue to have a look there. And I think it's going to be the right spot, but we never know. So we're going to hold out on this one. We're still short at 559, which is where we liked this name before. We got a story earlier from Google, which I was a little bit confused on. There hasn't been much happening with Google here today. So yeah, nice little move up there into that, and now you're getting some of the fades in the market again happening right now. So let's see if this market does indeed want to come back. So when the market fades back in, we want to go long on strong names. So what I like to do here is look at a little bit of, let me bring this watch list over here. And this is where I try to find some stronger names that might be in play here. So we'll sort it by percentages. And then I just use the names I always look at here. So SoxL pretty strong, Square, ARM up today, Roblox. Let's go Roblox. We like that one there. So nice little move there for Roblox back to the upside. But all right, so we'll look over some of these. There's Alibaba 79.80s. That's close to our 79.50 level. Palantir up 1.5% as well today. So let's now look at, maybe we'll look at some Intel. I know you're already in that one. I know you're in it short, but it is an up name today. And then Nvidia as well. So it does look like some of these chip names, ARM, Intel, Nvidia, and then the SMH and SoxL is on there. So good little levels to be concerned with. SPY continues to go higher, so it looks like, yeah, that might be the right trade there. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye on DIS here. Disney hackers here claiming to have hacked its internal Slack channels. This would be 10,000 Slack channels hacked with 1.1 terabytes of data. So this is unclaimed, but a hacker claiming to have breached data here for Disney DIS, guys.
Get some of that monthly subscription back over there. Yeah, okay. So I was just looking at some of those names, and I mean, the thing about Apple was we've already gotten stopped out trying to go short on this name in the first place. So we do want to try to find some longs, but this needs to come back to 229.30s or so. So something in and around there, something for me. There goes the S&P futures. We are getting very, very close to one more spot where we'll take some shares. But yeah, 559.50 was sort of what we were talking about there. Let's give this up to 560. We looked at those levels from yesterday. I mean, it's very surprising to me that we're this strong today. And again, I just sort of thought, you know, into a Friday, there's 560 up here, into a Friday might get us a little bit of sort of chill zone today. And it looks like there's no chill early. The buyers are back and buying some of these names up. So good levels to come through. Let's see if we're able to get it again here. That is, of course, the SPY, hopefully looking for a pullback in.
Yeah, I guess I got a little out of that TQs, maybe a little too early, but that's perfectly fine. We're coming right back into some of those levels. 81 testing on the Qs here. I do like, I guess, dabbling. Kind of started to dabble here in the Citigroup. We've sold off all the way to 64s, just to shy of 64s there, and maybe potentially looking for a little bit of a bid here. Again, just a starter position here. See if we can get a little bit of that VWAP. That 65 was interesting.
Really getting
if it does come in, should be interesting here. Intel still holding this one. I got a little bit of resistance level that we are trading underneath on Intel. Now we can see that how choppy and sideways it was prior to yesterday's action, right? So let me just pull this up here. Okay, so I guess Intel is continuing to go right there. I do have to kind of keep it a little bit tighter, but you can see that selling comes in quite aggressively just off of a failure to follow through of 35. But prior to that, kind of a choppy action there. We've been in an overall uptrend, so let's go to a little bit of a higher frame here. Intel I could very well be very wrong on this with the market screaming to the upside as it is as of right now. I do want to stay a little patient. Look at all those anchors. I gotta love these anchors, man. Shout out to Brian Shannon for kind of bringing that into perspective for me and many other traders as well. But I guess look at that. That's what I mean. Strong selling all day, no real bounce, and we're getting all that bounce as of right now. So might be a little wrong on this trade as of right now. Look at the market go 20,580 that we were looking for coming right in on the NQs there. So it seems like some of these tickers are super strong. There's Spider pushing, I guess, what is that high? 559.85, printing above 559s right here. But the only real stock that I see out of the Mag 7 that has any sort of strength here, Sean, is Apple. Right? Nothing else really giving us too much of that strength. Of course, Nvidia a little bit strong. AMD strong as well. I guess TSM. Oh boy. Okay. All right. So TSM hella strong. Off of the open, so is ARM as well. So TSM I have here, pre-market highs 184s. It's trading 188s right now on TSM, so that is pretty strong. SMH catching quite a bit as well.
Yeah, we actually got saved on the spiders. we got that 80 fill or that 75 fill, and it gave us an average price right now of 50s. So we are able to just get some out here at 58s and then again at 53s. So hopefully this will pull back in. We are short right now, right here. So let's give this a shot to see if it wants to come back in right now. So we're short at 59.50s. That's fine for us. We've taken some hits, right? I mean, when you get out, the reason why the price keeps adjusting, well, first of all, you didn't see that fill. Obi was talking, but there's the fill there at 75. So we did take that one, which gave us a better average price. We just doubled our position right there because we're close enough to our stop at 560. And, you know, to lose 25 cents on the last piece is very, very comfortable. We have definitely messed this part up. We've written down on the sticky note 559 short. And I'm really glad that we had done that because, I mean, this name just kept going up. We are very, very patient. And again, the reason why we liked that short, at the time when we looked at it, the 50-period moving average was right here, right? Obviously, it sloped back in as the market opened up and we started to go lower and then now bounce. So 559, we still like it. We talked about that 560 level from yesterday, and that seems to have been the top today. So let's hold on, see if we're right about this, and there is a pullback coming. Again, the market's pretty heated right now, right? I mean, you're well away from VWAP here, pretty extended out. We're back to flat on this trade. We're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but we are on the spiders. So again, a big name there. We traded it yesterday, and we have a chance to be up on it. Just needs to fall back. Like if this can get to 59, I'll tell you where my up spot is, 59.30. If we can get to 59.30 on it, then we will be flat on the name today. So, all right, Palantir up 1.37%. I mean, this name just let's go. That's a big one. Palantir, a big one. Happy birthday to my mom again, before I forget again. 27 right there. That's going to be the next level. So we did dip into that today. So that's too bad that we missed that. But again, you'd had to have that feeling today that this was an up day. And Palantir just looks exactly like the market. So I'm already short the market, so I'm not going to go short Palantir, but this could break through this 28.10. Obviously, if we do that, we do need the market to go. So let's see if that happens, man. 28.10, a decent spot there for Palantir. But if you do take it, remember, we've had some troubles here in and around 20s and 30s a couple times, there, and then even yesterday had some issues getting through it before it eventually popped. So watch out on that break. You may only get 15 or 20 pennies. So not in love with it if your time frame's a little bit longer.
Yeah, some potential hold here as of right now on Citigroup here, and futures with a little bit of a pullback. So we come right into that 20,580 that I was looking at prior day anchored off of CPI on the DAC, and we're taking a little bit of a pullback off of said level. Now, again, this is just the beginning of the 15-minute candle print here, so we're trading a little bit lower than the open. We still have just over 13 and a half minutes left to print this 15-minute candle. So I do have it kind of on watch. There goes Citigroup catching a little bit of a bid there. So I want a little bit more on top of that 64. Let's see if we can get back to that VWAP here. If the 64 bid is going to be strong, I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to go with what I'm seeing here. Whoa. I could definitely be reading what's going on there.
Is there news on Lucid, Adara? Because Lucid, thanks to everybody in the chat, they're telling me about Lucid right now. Lucid is, going nuts right now, having some dreams with their Lucid car and Lucid Dreams right now, up 20%. Goes LCID, El Fuego, right now for Lucid 420. Let's check out. I don't own any Lucid. I own Rivian, and that's been a good trade. Wow. Okay, Rivian as well, man. Yeah. We're long Rivian at 1125. There goes Rivian upside. What's up, eh?
Yeah, they got into this one a little bit earlier. Still not seeing any new news on this one, but we still have the same story from yesterday with the CEO saying that they need more money to grow and that Saudi's PIF would be a good long-term partner for EVs in general. So basically, again, just a repeat of that story from yesterday. CEO saying that this Saudi firm could be a good long-term EV partner here for LCID. Worth noting as well, 10% short float, guys.
Right, Saudis could be a good long-term investor. I thought without them, they're at zero. So, good report. Obviously, if you're long Lucid, I mean, there was continuation, as Adara just said. I mean, what a great chart. What a great chart. To dip some money into here. I know that there's been some talk. I think it was Sharif Polestar, or maybe it was Neil as well, looking at some of that Polestar in and around $1. We could check out PSNY. I assume that's probably flying as well right now. Rivian's been a big call, man. We're really happy with the way Rivian's been performing lately in the personal account. So again, double check back on this one later on today. Probably going to dump some of this because it's a monster. Rivian, nice play. We had bought Rivian off that 1050 area down here, and the 1050 area held. We're in at 11 and a quarter, but still nice move up, taking out that news from Volkswagen, right? When they were looking at divesting some money into Rivian, I believe that was the story a couple weeks ago. We hit 17.50, 18, and then fell back into 13 and change, and now complete. I mean, you talk about V-shaped recoveries. That is one right there. It's almost a perfect V to be exact with that. So Rivian, nice move. Probably could fade it if you want to pay for shorts, but again, a little bit of a short float on that, 10 to 20% on both Rivian and Lucid, up to 18 and change. I've just been sort of looking at this SPY trade here and haven't had a chance to look at too many other things. But you know what I'm noticing here? Micron. And again, I need to let this spiders trade settle down. It's either going to take 260 or it's not, 560 or it's not. But for now, I think this is a decent opportunity here as well, as Micron's pulled all the way back up to the 200 period and the 50 period moving average right now into that shelf. But so many names are at a shelf right now that we saw drop off from yesterday. So it's going to be a push and pull right here, trying to figure out which way this market wants to go. So I don't know. Micron's looking decent here for a short for me, but yeah, we have to really believe in the short in the market. You're still short Intel, but long the banks. I like that.
Yeah. So again, Intel, I guess it's starting to slow down. I might be slightly anchoring to some charting that I have going on Intel, but I'm gonna give it some room here. Banks catching a little bit of a, well, in terms of banks, I just mean Citigroup catching a little bit of a bid here. Again, off of that 64, attempting to push the quarter. Let's see if, again, I'm going to say this again. Can we print the quarter? Can we hold the quarter, print the half? And if we do that, but I will, I guess, stay a little patient to see if that'll come in. I definitely need a lot more on this. But before that, we're going to go to Dara for small cap recap.
Go.
Another great day here for the Russell 2000. As Michael Noss was mentioning earlier, we did have a nice move for the IWM yesterday. We're seeing the same kind of move today. Up more than 1% here. Great, bouncing off that 214 area. Really good look for the Russell 2000. A lot of these repeat runners here on these small caps, including IVP. This is Inspire Veterinary Partners. They've run a few times over the last few weeks here. No news on this one, but worth noting they do have a short float of just under 40%. Total float of around 953,000 shares. So definitely some things to be aware of there. We also have TOYO. This is Toyo. This one has just recently merged with that Blue World Acquisition Corp as of July 2nd. So TOYO and watch with a float of around 4.54 million shares. Last but not least, we have Zap Electric. This is another one that's run quite a bit recently. ZAPP. They do have some news though, announcing they entered into a standby equity purchase agreement with this affiliate of Yorkville Advisors Global with a commitment of up to $50 million for accelerating their rollout. So good look for ZAPP with a float of about 1.6 million shares, guys.
Than anything else, yeah. You just mentioning IWM. We talked about that earlier. We talked about that with Michael Noss. We are now short. Come on, spiders. This is like a make or break, basically, opportunity for me here this morning. So let's just see if we can get down, man. We just shorted more up here. We're at a tipping point. We just talked about that, right? I mean, this is sort of that level that we had run up to, trying to figure it out. It's at 20,000. We just bounced off 20,600, bounced down there, and now we're just trying to retrace, only retracing 50 handles, right? That whole move up right here is about 150 handles. So if you're going to give half of it back, it needs to, get to the 50 period and back down here to 2,500. So if we can get into that area, this is around 50% back. So a little bit of a pullback. Oh, Rob is here. I should ask him for a coffee if he has a second. Maybe I will. Okay, so there it is right now. Nice little push back down. And come on, SPY. Again, this is going to be something for me to see. We're now short at 70. We just got 54s. I'm still holding 85% of this trade. So let's go. Here we go. Let's get to the downside a little bit right now. Where am I bidding? I'm bidding 44s. There it goes. Yes, sir. Come on, let's go. Let's bring this down in. We are now positive on this trade. We talked about that patient word, Obi, and I don't have too much of it. I'm going to get some more out here. But there it is. We are now positive. Finally, positive on the SPY as we hold on to this trade. Again, positive on AMD today, despite it ripping up and us going short. And then Apple, we are red on. So I don't know if we like green or red apples, but normally I like green apples. Today it's a red one, unfortunately. So there it goes. Nice to the downside there for Apple for me, but a good retracement back up for Apple shareholders. So good call. Yes, sir. Come on, SPY. Let's go. We just talked about getting a retracement back down to the 50 period. Oh, this is the NASDAQ I'm looking at. Anyways, that's falling in. So we got to see, is the same true here for the ES? We still got a little bit of a ways to go before we get onto that, but let's go downside here. NQ and SPY. So far, so good there. Rivian moving. And I know, guys, I know. If anything, I'll have to look at Tesla because Rivian, wow, I'm getting out of some Rivian. Honestly, end of the day, I'm getting out of this Rivian. Some of it I'm long in 11.25. So at about 11.05, I'm going to put an offer out in the personal and get something out on Rivian. I really like this move back up, but I do think it's about getting something out at some point. So there it goes. We're out of now half of the SPY, and it's been good so far. I'm going to take another piece here at 46 if we can get it, and then see if that retracement does hit back upside right there. That was a little bit of a fall down into the 50-period moving average on the NASDAQ. So it's a good thing we cleared some out there. We still got half of this trade on, though.
Yeah, strong push there on Intel up into 34 halves. Citigroup kind of pulling back on top of that.
We already just talked about
64 mark right there. So maybe we do break back down and continue to hold that downtrend. Again, got to stay a little bit wary with this one. It is earnings day one. We sold off quite heavily there, but holding sideways here in and around this 64 mark as the futures pulls back. Right, we talked about that kind of that earnings. That's going to be I keep saying earnings, but that CPI anchored being in and around that 20,580s, and we come in right into the 20,580s before catching a little bit of a pullback once again here on the DAX there. So let's see if we can come in. But I'm looking at SMH as well because I am involved in the Intel, SMH, Nvidia, AMD. AMD super strong. So is SMH. TSM is strong as well. I guess Intel is strong even though it's kind of grinding its way up. There, it is still quite strong on the day. Now, again, a little bit of a catalyst happening on Intel, but in terms of relative volume, not really doing too much RVol here on Intel. So here, I'll pull it in on my chart. Look at that. It's kind of at 0.5, 0.6 RVol on the 5 period happening here on Intel. So again, I like it a little bit better because of that.
Oh, thank you.
So let us see if that'll come in. It could just continue to melt up. I know exactly where my stop is. I am getting involved a little bit too early. But again, it is kind of I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know if it's going to go all the way there, but starting to dissipate some of that buying pressure, and that's what I got and started to get involved with at least on Intel. If we kind of push up even stronger, that's perfectly fine. I'm more than willing to be wrong on that one there if we continue this strength into some of those prior levels there. But yeah, don't have anywhere near what I'm looking for in terms of inventory here on the Intel. But if and when it kind of comes in the way I want it, I will definitely be looking into getting a lot more here. 64 holding on Citigroup. Let's take a look at some of these other banks here. JPM trending down, but printing a little sideways. Wells Fargo still well within that opening range, the first 15-minute opening range on Wells Fargo. Citigroup is, I guess, pretty strong to the downside here, coming right back into 63.90s. Day low sitting at 63.70 as of right now. Tesla testing that 248. You were looking at that 250, right, Sean? So we're only.
Oh my God, it's all the way back?
Well, it's at 246 now, but the high day is 248. But yeah, it came all the way back, and we're kind of holding, 248. Prior day, yeah, that is a prior day level here. If we take a look at Tesla, let me just bring this chart in. A quick look at Tesla here. What is that 248? Oh boy, look at all those anchors coming in. Maybe this one is as well, but I think we got to go to the 15 minutes for that to be a little bit more accurate. But look at that, kind of the third lower high there after the Tesla move at that 248, and we're taking a little bit of a slowdown here in and around some of those levels on Tesla. Let's see if that 250 comes in. That 250 definitely going to be interesting if and when it does. But Tesla, super strong, trading over 10 points to the upside off of the open there. Lucid, Danielle in the chat saying Lucid plus 25. Interesting. Okay, so wow, Lucid is continuing to go 430. Rivian, oh boy, 1842s coming in.
1842s?
1842s on Rivian, Sean. That thing is blasting to the upside.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that is a interesting level there for Rivian. We've changed our game up a little bit here on the SPY. We just keep on going back into scalp mode now, as we're going to be wrong on the short holding it because we're at highs, right, on the SPY. Probably something to do with the banks right now, as the spider's holding high right at the day's high, as opposed to the NASDAQ, which has pulled back a little bit here. So we just shorted 85s again back there. So we're just trying to scalp out a little bit. As you can see, like now we're 20 cents in the money. Let's put another bid here at 67. Sorry, 20 cents, sorry, 14 cents. We'll see if we can get a bid there now at 67. Just trying to scalp out a little bit here. Hopefully the market will fall. But again, you know, having hope is not great. So we've just been holding out higher, and just look at this. This is just, we tried to put on our hold hat here, and we did, and we got a decent little pump down, but we didn't even get to the 50 period. So of course I'm still going to reload these shorts because we like that top. We looked at it yesterday, but now we're just going to try to take like 15, 20 cents on this because our stop now is 25 cents away. So I think we're doing pretty good. If we can just pull back in and then try to get some 50s, that would be a good trade for us right now, and it's kind of licking the wounds on what's been not a great trade here, trying to wait for the futures to fall because they don't want to do it, Obi, at least as far as what I can see here right now. You traded the strongest bank, so I like that one, Citigroup. We'll see if that could do anything. Wells Fargo was the weakest of them, and they're looking like they still want to be down. Wow, that's 7%. Let's check out what XLF was doing. Yeah, why is XLF going up? Okay, we'll have to solve that problem after. Yeah, let's get into some Rivian, man. I mean, isn't that insane how far up we just went there, 1842? That's the first little sell pressure. Well, we had one there, and we dipped back to 18 down to 1750, a complete retracement to VWAP. So this could go back into 18 again if we follow the similar move back in for Rivian there. What a move higher here for RIVN. Congratulations, shareholders over there. If you've been holding crypto, you're pretty happy today, man. Ethereum's at 31 and Bitcoin's at 58, but I'll let Adara mention that to you.
In the world of Bitcoin, we had a story come out later in the day yesterday from Coinbase. Apparently, according to one of its senior product officers, they're looking to launch a one-stop crypto app basically designed to simplify user experiences with crypto. This apparently came from user feedback after they announced their wallet earlier this month. They're saying the goal is to get all of their users, that's almost 100 million users, on chain. So basically, this is just specifically a hub for their crypto management. Interesting leak here for Coinbase. Love to see any updates on that. Bitcoin itself in a really fascinating area here on the daily chart. As you can see, we're coming to this previous resistance that formerly was support coming back to early May. Now we have these higher lows here trying to break above this 58,000. So aside from these wicks, it'll be interesting to see if we can get a closing level above 58,000 on Bitcoin in the daily chart. Something definitely brewing there. In terms of some of these other names, as Sean mentioned, Ethereum up nicely here, holding on to that 3,100 level. A lot of these other names a bit mixed here. We have Solana down about 1.7%, Ripple up about 3%, Cardano up 2.25%. So lots of mixed sentiment, as we've seen a lot lately with these crypto names. But Ethereum holding nicely into that 3,100, and Bitcoin breaking above 58,000 on a closing basis could be something to watch out for, guys.
And wholeheartedly with Adara on that one, as crypto does seem much better now. I mean, a little healthier, trying to hold out some of those levels there. As I noticed some altcoins holding out as well now, which is a good sign with Solana and ADA. Cardano was up 4% last night, so definitely some movement happening in this space. So there's Rivian, 1840. I just said there was a good pullback opportunity into 18 there. VWAP and the 50 period is 1780, 1775. So those are levels to look out for me for sure. Yeah. We just could have got out of spiders again for 20 cents there as it went back into 70s, and we didn't do anything about it. It looks like we're going to take out the highs right now again. So the market's ripping. It's fine. We'll fail on it. Whatever. Here, I'll just show it to you. We're going to get stopped out here there it is, on SPYs as it breaks higher than 560. So again, good job on the bulls today. It did it. It got it to a nice little high spot there, and they win and I lose. So there it goes. Nice move to the upside. But because we were scalping out here, it's actually, the hit sucks because you can't win when you're going short and it's at the high of the day. But still, pretty happy being able to scalp out some of that and change up our game plan. So yeah, we'll be red here today because we've lost on Apple and now lost on the SPY. And the only win was a small one here on AMD. So really 3 ideas come through today. It'll be an L on the spiders there, but I think we'll be able to get back into that one at some point. And then Apple, really super happy the fact that it came all the way back up today, like right back to highs again. The high on Apple, the 52-week high on Apple is right here, 233. So you're not even too far away from making it all the way from yesterday. So whoever bought that dip definitely did some work there. So good job on Apple today for those of you, and a good job on the SPY as the market continues to go higher and higher here. Rivian, though, and Tesla and all the EV space really blasting. There's that 250 on Tesla.
Yeah, those I guess those TQs again. Let's take a quick look at where they're testing at. Okay, so we talk about that anchor coming in, and we are pushing right up into that level right here, 81.20, 81.19. I have here on the 15-minute chart for the TQs, and we are pushing right up into it. Same with the Nasdaq and everything. Got stopped out of that City Group trade there as we pushed that day low on Citigroup. So I guess again that weakness definitely very, very dominant on some of these banks as the market pushes up. 20,600 incoming right there. And oh boy, Sean, Tesla is coming into
I was
that
just
250.
looking at that's exactly
Tesla's right here, so I'm going to pull it up on my chart as well. Is there any size there? Nothing too much really. Let's see what Tesla does with this 250 mark. Prior day, some of this high is right above that 250.87 on Tesla, with the market being super strong here. Spider 560. Are you still long Spider or?
Long? No, I was short.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
sorry,
I was looking short, but we are now
fair
out
enough.
of that one.
Softy coming right back up into its opening prices. Apple super strong. Alphabet sideways. Nvidia attempting to push highs. Amazon sideways as well. Let's take a quick look at Meta.
I was going to just short Meta right here.
Yeah, what's Meta up
This
to,
might be a
Sean?
problem, but
I know yesterday you had quite a nice trade on Meta.
yesterday worked. Today, I don't know, not so much. 502.50. What are you thinking about Meta before I give?
I don't know. It's just I guess we sold off quite aggressively yesterday. That continuation comes in all in the pre-market right there. I was like, oh, off the open, maybe that 500 breakdown will be nice. It gives it to you right in the pre-market, and then now we're just chopping in and around that 500 mark, holding VWAP though. We might have some confluence there, making higher lows as well. So I'm not too sure. It definitely is doing some relative volume in the pre-market. So it's on people's radars. And okay, that's interesting. Let's take a quick look at this right here. Some of this prior low right here from the beginning of the month. So okay, so this is a month low, Sean. 493 is the low of the month, and we kind of bounced off of 494. And then trading back above 500, and not only just 500, trading above and holding VWAP as of right now. So maybe a potential reversion in store as the market continues to make some fresh highs, 20,600 testing.
Yeah, I was just looking at Meta there, and I tried 503 short. That did not work. Now it's at 504 as the market. Yeah, so we just tried it right there against that level, got out. That was actually nothing to really write home about right there, but there goes Meta. Huge blast up. We don't even, like yesterday, we shorted it because it was at those highs. Right now, we just tried it against those highs of 503.20 and it blasted. So about a 30-cent hit there on Meta. Let's see if we can do a little bit better though, right? I mean, we don't need to be in everything right at these times, but I do think that Meta, because it's relatively weak here today, this would be a name to short if you thought the market was going to pull back, but that's not the strategies that we use when the market's up. What we're looking for is strong names pulling back. We're not necessarily looking for weak names to short them. We're looking for stronger names that are pulling back that we can get longer on. So like if there's anything there, it would have been the spiders. Should have gone the other way as that's broken through. I mean, look at I mean, at least I feel like we were sort of right about our 560 level because once we, that's still meta. I don't know, my chart's taking a minute. There's the blast off, and we've just gone up 50 cents from there. We could have just punched long, not even that many shares, and made this all back. So that would have been a good little level there. And sometimes we say that you kind of got to go the other way sometimes when your key levels are broke down. All right, AMD, again, you know, we're down about half of what we made yesterday, so we're going to try to figure that out right now. Look at AMD. Again, short. We're actually up on this name, believe it or not, because that short early, and then this short late, and then we eventually got stopped out, which was completely fine. But look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Strong name, right? AMD today. Strong name, pull back into the 50 period. So these are the setups right now that, you know, I'm scanning for, and I mean, Obi, same way. We always look for different setups that we like, right? And I mean, sure. If they're there, they're there. Alibaba I wrote down as a long today, but it doesn't look like it, right? I mean, it's pretty weak down here. And this would be another name here where I'd have to say, do we wait for that 79.50 or maybe do we even short it if there's a chance that it gets back up into VWAP again? Because despite the market doing what it's doing today, Alibaba's doing this. So maybe some of the strength in these Chinese names have now abated. All right, Nvidia, when you're going to talk about strength, got to look at Nvidia. And again, here's another example. Boom, boom, boom. So we missed that. We missed that pullback into VWAP right there for NVDA. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on with my scanners because I normally have VWAP scanners out. So that should have triggered. And I don't see anything on Nvidia. What time is that? 10:22. I'm going to have to go back and have a look because nothing even triggered on AMD or not. I'm going to restart my platform on that, Trade Ideas, and see if we can get that coming through. But Nvidia, good level there at 129 should have had that, Obi. And I'm even thinking about this break of 130 higher because the market's not stopping. I know you're still in Tesla, or sorry, the short there on Intel. So we'll look at that. Do we want to go to Adara now? Okay, then let's go over to Adara at the screen.
Market pretty strong across the board here. We have this electronic technology sector reclaiming its weakness from yesterday. Green across the board. Very different picture from what we saw at this time yesterday. Lots of strength as well in health technology. Finance, with the exception of the three names that reported this morning. So JPM, WFC, and C. Actually, the rest of it pretty green across the board here as the rest of these banks wait to report their earnings heading into the next week. Producer manufacturing strong. Consumer services strong. Commercial services strong. Consumer durables led by Tesla to the upside here as well. We have consumer durables as well, looking pretty green, a little bit more weak to flat in some of these retail trade names, with the exception of the housing names continuing higher. Energy minerals a little bit weaker. Communications and technology services interesting here. We do have a lot of strength in names like Adobe, CRM, and Accenture. Some of these mega caps, though, especially Meta, a little bit to the downside. So keep an eye on this communications services sector. This one could go either way.
All right. Yeah. No. Some of the we saw that the stark difference between sectors. Yesterday, we were pointing that out. You were shaking your head at something.
No, I just feel like there's been so many good trades there today, and it's just what you and I talked about before. It's not having that, like, I was thinking short today, you know, and it's just like the only names we lost on there. I mean, I really thought that SPY, we could have got out of this. We were profitable on this name as it was coming back in, and it just didn't continue. So it's like, you know, once it didn't continue there, we had known that it stopped at the 50 period or came pretty close to that, and then it just blasted off. So yeah, a little bit of a swing and a miss there on some of those plays. So yeah, that's why I get a little. I mean, I'm not upset, but a little bit upset at missing that. And then we just talked about Nvidia breaking through 130, and there it goes, and it goes immediately up 70 cents or so. So again, another good break there, or at least a retest of 130, back up to 130 and change. So where do we take the long? I mean, a breakthrough 131 or something finally here on Nvidia. It's only up a little bit. It could be up a lot, Nvidia. So maybe a 131 break. What does that even look like here? I just feel like it's a little late to be thinking about punching longs, but it's only 1040. 130, yeah, 131's not great on that one. We have to wait for pullbacks. Frustrating, for me, a little bit of a frustrating day, Obi, so that's why I said that. Yeah, look at Robinhood, look at Rivian. So many different names to go. Someone in the chat just said, look at Robinhood. So let me do that quickly before we go. There's Alibaba just dipped down. We said we'd have a look at Alibaba. So we're into this one at 79.50. I don't know. I might just cancel this party on this one as well. I don't know if we like the long up here on this name, but look at the market. Still going, man. AMD's 185, by the way.
Yeah, some of these chips are blasting off, Sean.
I'll try Alibaba.
Again, Nvidia pushing that 131 almost, 130.81 high a day there. AMD super strong. Intel strong as well. SMCI very strong off of the open. And again, if you're not really looking or want to get involved in the volatility in some of these chip names, there's always the semiconductor ETF from Van Eck, SMH, which has been doing quite well off of the open as well. So yeah, look at that. I definitely sold too early down here in the mid 80s or even high 80s right there. We are pushing 81.60s. And I did have kind of some longs here from 79s and change. So a little bit of a miss on my part with the market being super strong. I was looking for a potential reversion. We did about I guess a 30% reversion, pushing into. So what is that? That's about 6.3 points there, and we are bidding back. We've bid back up about 2.3. So yeah, definitely pushing into that 30 to 50% reversion range there on the futures after a very strong flush off of CPI yesterday. What was it? We were down almost 400, 500 points by the end of the day. 21,000 test. 600.
At one point,
yeah, Sharif saying 600 deep, 600 point deep on the DAC off of that pullback from yesterday.
Deep.
So yeah, getting a little bit of a reversion here the next day. 400s in the pre-market all the way to 600s as of right now within just over the first hour of the trading day. So oh boy, are we getting some strong action here. The longs were definitely not wrong on the day today. So let us know in the chat, what are you guys looking at? Did you guys trade anything long? You guys get involved with the market? Did you guys get involved with some of these chips? The chips are making a comeback. We just saw the sector watch, the sector comparison right there, and we can see a lot of energy names were up yesterday, right, Sean? So let's take a quick look. What did XOM do yesterday? So yesterday, XOM a little bit of a bid and selling off today, so catching a little bit of the other side as well. Wow, these futures are hella strong.
I don't want to short anything right now, but I'm trying a little.
250 snaps right through. 250 on Tesla snaps right through. Let's see what 250 is going to act like on the tape. Well, I don't know if I want to short it in this market, Sean. It's going to, yeah, exactly. It's just like, damn.
Yeah, I was like sort of under my breath. Good thing I didn't short it. You know?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. 250, we are kind of extending to the upside there. 200 points to the up. So that would give us, if we printed low of about 600 points and we're bidding up about to 200 to 300 points today. What is these pre-market lows? Somewhere in and around the mid 300s here, 20,000 300s on the NASDAQ. We've printed up about 300 points off of that.
We just put some damage on the board.
What's going on?
All right, we're short Nvidia there. Let's just see, man. We talked about that 131, trying to have a little bit of patience here on that name. We did put some on. It's going to be a good trade here. We just took some out at 35s for 30 cents. And again, the reason why we're taking something out right now is we already talked about pullbacks into VWAP. We know we want to get long there, so we're going to have to. I mean, this could still fail. That's why we want to take some out. But right there, let's see now where we're going on this. So let's see. Nice little pull up here, I'm thinking, for Nvidia. Let's see if we just get a small little retracement now on the name, and that's definitely in the cards here for a potential retracement for Nvidia. So there it is. We just took 30 cents, coming back one more time. Let me just bid another piece. I don't know if that was. Nah, you know what? Let's try 130. We can get 130, then we'll definitely slip out of it and see, slip out of the majority, and then see if we do get a pullback, maybe even to 75s. Like the 50 period is what we're looking for. This is just always meant to be a scalp. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Alibaba just went 7 or 8 cents in the money. But we did get this today, what's for lunch. We missed it yesterday and the day before, but it looks like the update coming fast and furious. Oh, it's a good thing we took something out there for Nvidia. All right, here's the lunch for today. It's white wine, cream chicken, and mushroom penne pasta. But we still have to get wings, remember?
Oh, yeah.
So people forgot about wings, and I did not. So we will be ordering some of those. And it was for the midday show, so why don't we get that done? I got a few things to do. We'll put through the order. We'll get it coming hopefully around 1 o'clock-ish. How does that sound? If we can do that, that way they can have them on the midday. It was sponsored by Terra Engineering for Adara and Sharif. So we got to make sure that they can do that on the midday show, and we'll have some fun.
I heard it was a result of Adara holding back the puns for an hour. So shout out to Adara. That definitely a bit of a feat there. We know how much I guess she loves to pun. But yeah, no, it's funny. Really? But the first 15 minutes, I think what you said there was a pun that. Yeah, please just punch right away, and then I was like,
that's more of a saying, like that.
No, that was also banned. That was banned.
That was
punny.
banned.
It's a little punny. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, good.
And I realized there was also banned
hour.
Things as well. I think,
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair.
Okay, so fair.
Pretty well.
fair.
But yeah, no, thank you. We get some beer and wings today.
Yeah.
Thank
yeah,
you.
well,
Thanks
definitely
to,
wings.
thanks to Adara, so
The LCBO is the close thing around here, and they're on strike. So we'll see. We will definitely be getting some wings, and if we have to get the liquor else some other time, we will do that. But I think most people are excited for the wings.
Oh yeah.
So we'll get some of that popping off very, very soon. All right. Did we just get a call to go to Adara? All right, so let's go.
Just keep an eye on Ford here. This one having a nice streak, but also popping up here today. Some catalysts coming yesterday after market close. They elected this woman, Adriana Cisneros, to its board of directors. Earlier yesterday as well, there was this report that the Biden-Harris administration had announced about $2 billion to support these auto workers and convert some of these facilities to EV facilities. So interesting look here for Ford pushing higher, guys.
Okay. Yeah, not much else. I mean, Alibaba's doing nothing. AMD and Nvidia are doing nothing right now. And then the SPY just continues. I mean, I know we could still go over. I mean, you're still in that same position. I've sort of got two newer ones.
Really moved
Look at the spiders, man. Wow. Wow, and more wows happening today. Good little look there for SPY upside there. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I did not expecting this. I mean, talk about, I don't want to say bizarro world because it's not. I mean, this is the way the market, I feel like it's always a little bit twisted. You know, that number comes out and what, they hated it? The algos hated it at least, but everybody else was just like, all right, we good. And then we just motored there up to that upside. So a nice little move now. Where do we stop? I mean, the Nasdaq's back 1%. Yesterday, I'm going home, I'm listening to everybody talk like, oh, and we talked about this earlier, the rotation, you know, Mag 7 is screwed and this and that. And everybody's going back into other names. That may be true, but it looks like today the flight is back maybe. I mean, Nvidia was down 5, it's up 3 now. So that's back. Apple yesterday, right? Apple's right back within $1 of its all-time high again. Apple's like, what? We were actually down here yesterday at 226? I don't think so. $5 into that name, up another 2% here today. So we just talked about that hot list that we looked at with all the stocks. Most of those names down 2 or 3%. It seems like they're getting the mojo back here for these big tech names, led by today, of course, AMD and Nvidia, Microsoft and Apple. We've already noted that Meta was still down. And there's one thing that we love around here, Fabian, just need to get more of it today. It's Money Talks over at the desk with Adara.
DXY on its third straight day to the downside. We had a bit of a reprieve earlier in the week, but now we're continuing lower. Currently holding up at that previous area of support here around 104s, but we'll have to see what the DXY does from here on this daily chart. PPI higher than expected here across the board. Year over year for June, 2.6% versus the 2.3% estimate. Month over month for June, positive 0.2% versus positive 0.2% expected. Also, both the prior numbers for these two metrics were revised higher, so that's worth noting as well. For the core numbers, also higher than expectations, 0.4% versus 0.2% month over month, 2.6% versus 2.3% expected on the year over year basis. So we'll have to see here. This data coming a little bit higher after that lower than expected CPI. So bit of a mix here. We're going to have to see what we do here with inflation as we have increased expectations for a September rate cut. Rate cut. We also had JP Morgan changing their rate cut expectations to September as well. So this could be an interesting look. Also worth noting here, the yen today, there was likely $22 billion USD spent on yen intervention on Thursday. This is according to analysis from Bloomberg. As you can see here, yen on its second straight day with notable green candles here to the upside. So keep an eye on this JPY USD relationship. We did recently have the yen hit 38-year lows. So this could be worth watching, guys.
38-year lows. Jeez, man.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah,
Nvidia's going to take 131 right here, and we've been getting out of it, so it looks like we'll just have to wait to see if it pops through, which it's going to. 131. Man, like to be able to sit in front of these, like we said, you got to really try to pick your spots. We saw Tesla go right through that 50 there, and now here it comes. Okay, a little bit of a pullback. I'm going to take some of this out as we're just short right here at 83s. So let's take some out for flat as we're just trying to lick our wounds. Like, I can't believe we're about to take like a 20-cent hit here on Nvidia. That is really in the pocket for me. We got to play some of these retracements because I feel like punching longs at some of these levels is a little bit risky, but that's been wrong all morning. Like, see, there you go. You're short Tesla now too. It's like at some point shorts have to come in, right?
You guys short as well?
No, I'm short Nvidia, but that hasn't been right. So good luck on the Tesla. I don't. You want to talk about that maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of just taking it off the bit of the tape here. It is super strong. I am kind of I guess very, very much counter trend there, but we did dip back into that 250 coming in. So I do have eyes on it, and Intel as well, kind of struggling with that 60, or not really struggling, but going sideways, I guess, off of that what is it, 34 halves area as of right now, but still within uptrend on Intel. Market's still super strong. We held 20,500. We held at 20,600 as of right now, and we are continuing the bid to the upside here. So definitely want to stay wary on some of these shorts. I'm getting AMD alerts here, Sean. So let's take a quick look at AMD. Oh, wow. Fresh eyes on AMD. That is absolutely wild there. Yeah, chips right back at it. Chips with the dip yesterday, and that dip was definitely nice. What's the best dip that you like for your chips?
I like guacamole. I'm just going to call it like it is. I think salsa is also great. You know what? There's when we were growing up, I haven't had this in a minute. I don't know if it still exists. It's called Hell of a Dip. That stuff was fire. The Hell of a Dip.
Hell of a Dip?
It's called Hell of a Dip.
It was a hell of a dip.
It was a hell of a dip, and you could get. So I actually like where you get like a sour cream dip kind of thing. Like back in the day, there used to be, you could sort of make your own where you get the sour cream packages, I guess, with the sour cream chips. Yeah. A little bit of dill in there, whatever it is. That's really tasty too. But yeah, I think guacamole is the right play there. All right, Nvidia failed, but we got back in. I'm just scalping this out now. Sort of licking those wounds back in here on Nvidia. Let's see. Let's see if it gets back to the downside. But chasing this short has been incorrect, though, right there. All right, this is 75s. I'm going to put an offer at 75 here or about 70s here for Baba. Again, doesn't seem to want to move much. You just talked about that Tesla. Let's see if that one can work out there to the short side. We're just going to play Nvidia against that recent high of 131.10s or so. Little bit of a drop. I'm going to take this out as we continue to go to the downside. And believe it or not, we're up now on Nvidia. There's the fail. Finally go down right there. Cash out, though. Cash out, man. Scratch tickets, cashed in, no more. We got lucky on that. If you ever hit on a scratcher, maybe that should be it. That was pretty lucky. Nice move to the downside right now. Let's just continue to cash it out. We're out of 2/3 of this play now positive on Nvidia. Because remember the hit that we took. We talked about it. We took a 20-cent hit. So now we're back in the money, 20 cents. So we're in the money on Nvidia, but just barely. Tesla's going down, I guess?
Yeah, Tesla's a little taking a wee bit of a pullback there off of that 250, 249's holding as of right now, but well within trend, right? So I got to stay patient. Hasn't really broken that trend just yet. Again, the market is super strong, so we can definitely see that 250 come right back in. Very aggressively. So I'm keeping an eye on it. Look at this. This is quite a nice trend. VWAP all the way down at 244. So if we are kind of, if buyers are kind of starting to dissipate there, let's see if we can catch a bid in and around there. We saw that VWAP was super strong off the reclaim. Again, pre-market high break as well on Tesla. Very, very strong bid for the first hour and a half of trading. So let's see if we can get a little bit of relief here back to the downside. VWAP again, kind of being here, but again, we'd have to break some of this trend here. Intel has not really broken that trend, so I am definitely getting closer and closer to getting out of this piece of the position right now. But yeah, no, I saw some people in the chat were talking about some of the tickers that they've been trading on the day here, somebody I forget who it was. I apologize, but somebody said they made some good trades on HIMS. So I did pull it up HIMS, look at that. Definitely doing some relative volume. Look at that strength. So the morning drive on HIMS was absolutely wild. A little bit of a reversion down into VWAP there as well. Definitely hits the criteria for relative volume here. And look at the market cap as well. I like that. That's nice and thick. 4.74.
What the hell did Nvidia just do? Oh my God, I got out of it all.
HIMS and HERS Health. So what's going on with your Nvidia there?
We got a huge fill on Nvidia, but we got out of it all. So I don't necessarily want to get out of it all. We just got 66s, putting Nvidia up to my #1 stock today. So look at this move right back up, though, for Nvidia. I got to make sure that I have this stop. I cannot believe we just got hit there. I was like, why are we getting out? And then all of a sudden, it was the greatest out I've ever had down there. So nice move now back up for Nvidia. This is wild, man. This market just goes. I don't even know why we reloaded it there, but we did. We got that 66 fill and no idea why. Look at that right there. And then Nvidia just blasts up. There must be some kind of news on all these names, but the market right now just trying to figure itself out. And it looks like it's an upside day here. Like, I don't know. It just continues to go. Let's see if Nvidia wants to pull back down. No, it does not. It just got below 31s again, now holding out higher. This name's going to blast off. We're out at 131.10 here for 20 cents, but looks like we'll just give back what we made on it again. Oh man, what a wild move. Like, I got 60s there, and then all of a sudden I got O's again. And I was like, that just moved 40 cents in one and a half minutes. So we did take the short there. Could be wrong. Yeah, no, the volatility is definitely something on a lot of these tickers. I know trading AMD yesterday. Now again, going back to reminiscence of a stock operator, it only takes one trader. That's it.
It only takes one person. Yesterday, while trading AMD, I think it was around 183s or something. All of a sudden, slams down a whole point. I blink and I don't even know what I'm looking at. I blink and it's like it's trading $1 lower, and I'm like, there's no way that happened that quickly. I move over to the 1 second chart. And it did happen within 1 second, so it happened faster than a second there. 1 point drop. It's again somebody just hitting the book, hitting the book with a sell order, and it just slaps everything out of the bid there. And 1 point lower. So definitely have to watch out for some of those. It only takes one trader. I see that Sean is chopping up this Nvidia here, back and forth. Nice little.
Sharif's singing that "Oops, we did it again" thing, and I'm like, yeah, man, we've been wanting that that animation for a minute there, that Britney thing. Now I got the professor over here going through. Oh, oops, again. We didn't really do it again, but we'll give some props up here for Alibaba, because there it is, man. We wrote this down. If there's anything, I should always just look at the very first one that we did here, Alibaba 79.50. That was a level that we thought could fall back in today. And if it did, we wanted to take the long. So we did that. Remember, we were kind of questioning it because we didn't have the confidence in some of our plays today, but looks like this one does work. Let's take a piece out right there. If it continues to go, great. I'll put another offer here. But for right now, my biggest P&L name right there will be Nvidia today. And it just happened right now. You want to talk about being patient. This is going to look sloppy as you know what. And I apologize for that, because if you guys, a lot of traders can't do this, but we've been shorting 131. So if you're an options trader, it's basically you just want like a 130.50 put or something like that to sort of enjoy some of these plays. But there it comes. Yes, sir. Take a 57. That's 40 cents right now. We're doing pretty good on this trade. So good little pullback. I hope some of you shorted this with us. I didn't even realize the time, Obi.
Oh boy.
So do me a favor.
I'm staring at this Tesla, man. I'm looking at Tesla to really come in here. 248s, 247s. We broke this trend. I'm just kind of patiently waiting. Let's see. Market's pulling back as well. A little bit of confluence, but
confluence.
It is 11 o'clock.
It's past. It's 11:01. Alibaba just took another 25 cents on that one. Nvidia's falling. This guy's got Tesla. Hey, it's been a good morning. Lots of names to look at. Lots of different stocks. We'll go over there and ride the wave with these two this afternoon. So get ready for some Wingstop as well. See everyone at 2 o'clock.
Shout out to our boy Elliot.
Shout out to L, the big man L.
Ride that wave. What is up, beautiful?